You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
The wait is over. Welcome back for part 4 of Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast extreme TV theme song bracket. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Where's the explosion?
Well, I wasn't that quick on the trigger.
It'll be there.
It'll be there. Don't you worry about it. We'll get it in
He's
there.
never let us down yet with an explosion.
Ah,
This is it. All the marbles tonight.
we're going to wrap it up tonight. We're going to go through the final section, the silver age of television, which will consist of, I don't even know what the earliest one, I didn't look. We're at late 60s to early 80s. I'm sure probably one of these is still on.
But a good group. I like this group.
Yeah,
I feel good about this.
These guys don't get to see the list till a few minutes ago, but I like they seem pleased with some of the choices on here, even though there's going to be some tough matchups, some heartbreakers. Jordan, explain what we're doing here.
We are doing the fourth and final bracket for all the best theme songs in the history of TV. So if you have missed the first 3, go back in the archives. You can listen to them in any order. We kind of jumped around from time period to time period. But this one is the Silver Age. So we already did the Golden Age, we did the Bronze Age, and we did the Modern Age. So this is our fourth and final, as I said before. And we're going to match up 2 famous theme songs. We're going to debate them, which one is better. That one will move on in the bracket, and then it will face the next one on the list. We'll debate that one. We'll play the theme songs. We might sneak a few little fun audio tidbits in there. And at the end of the night, we're going to have a winner.
The
Silver
ultimate
Age.
winner. Yeah, we'll have Silver Age, and then we'll go on, and we have 3 winners already, which we'll repeat at the end of the episode in case you haven't heard those.
That will be the final 4.
We'll have a final 4, and we will figure it out tonight who the ultimate champion is, who is the Ka-Pow crowned champion.
And we've gotten some good feedback on this. People seem to enjoy these. We're glad you're liking listening to this. We really like doing it.
Yeah.
So
And we had fun with this. We put up our play-ins, like we had some outliers that we just weren't sure about, so we put polls up the last couple episodes.
Yep.
And you could vote on the play-in of which one actually got into the bracket and which one.
Right. You guys got to choose what got in. So
Yeah.
So if you missed that, like our Facebook page, Ka-Pow the Pop Culture Podcast on there. We do fun stuff like that. We don't spam you too much, but we do a lot of fun little things on there.
Yeah.
So let's start with that first one. What was our
first
play-in?
yeah, the first matchup was a couple of family shows from the 70s.
Sounds pretty 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Get wet. Watch out, Carrie's going to fall down. Oh, she just fell down between the weeds.
Hashtag don't fall down.
Don't fall down, Carrie. Little House on the Prairie. It's on from 74 to 83. It's Michael Landon's baby, Little Joe.
Yeah, my memory of this show was mostly from syndication. Like, it ran on TBS for a long time. And we've talked about being a captive audience when we were younger. We only had so many channels. And so this was a show I did not care for as a very young child.
Right.
But I was forced to watch because it was better than whatever adult programming was on the news or whatever.
We watched this over and over when I was young. Like, it was just an approved family show. You know, it was just, based on the books by Laura Ingalls Wilder. Talking, I believe that was a real person that wrote about her, life,
Right.
And It was just a good family show.
Yeah, they were out on the
Walnut
frontier.
Grove,
Yeah.
and what was the town that was nearby? Sleepy Eye. They always would take a trip to Sleepy Eye.
What was it? Was it Nellie?
Nellie.
Oh, I hated Nellie.
Yeah, and Willie, her brother, the Olsen Mercantile.
We had Merlin Olsen, right?
Yeah, Father Murphy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they went out, and then later there was Nancy. They adopted that girl to replace Nellie after that.
The one girl went blind.
Mary went blind.
Yeah.
And
I know
Adam,
a lot more about this than I...
we're going to talk about it. Adam, she married Adam. They had a blind school.
Yeah, that's
Albert,
right.
they went and found Albert.
Yeah. He was a little...
Michael Landon would... he wore lifts because he wasn't the tallest guy. That's why they called him Little Joe. But he wore 4-inch lifts on this show.
I didn't know
taller.
Yeah.
But remember Almanzo?
No, I don't.
You don't remember Almanzo? That's who Laura married.
Oh, okay.
And then they had another little girl. I know they adopted Jason Bateman from Silver Spoons. And some other girl.
Maybe I'm crazy here, and correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was just some weird fever dream. But didn't
Mr. Edwards?
Didn't the house blow up? Or the town
blew the town up.
Okay.
In the finale, there was like the railroad was coming through. I could be totally wrong. This is my childhood memory. But the railroad was coming through and buying up the town. They were just going to be gone. There was going to be no town anymore. So they blew up all the buildings so they wouldn't get anything.
That's so weird.
Yes, what?
I just would like to interject a second. That before we started, we mentioned the only negative thing we had to say about the previous episode was that it was a little bit long.
We don't care. I don't care.
And we should probably tighten things up just a touch.
We're talking about it. You should. It's only long because you interrupted us. But remember Carolyn opened the restaurant?
Yeah, I remember the restaurant.
Yeah, it was good. You don't know nostalgia for this. This is our only chance to talk Little House.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
That's crazy to me because it was... It was huge. In my memory, I don't know. Yeah. I really don't have perspective. I don't know whether everyone else was watching.
It was a weird thing where, like I said, I felt like I didn't like the show, but I think I secretly did like the show. Probably as a kid.
There's nothing I like better than when you got an episode of Little House, or I'll equate it to something like in Roseanne or other movies where the dad was like, okay, I'm going to go whoop somebody's ass. When Dan Connor would put on his coat and walk out, or Charles Angles was getting ready, he had to go take care of something. I'm like, oh, this is the best. He's going to go knock somebody out. Just like, those were the best. But it was just a good family show. And it's like, again, period piece.
Yeah.
I like, the old timey things like that. So whatever, I loved Little House on the Prairie.
I have also never seen any of the one it's up against.
And this was like the boring show I hated. Boring version of Little House.
I'm definitely glad the listeners voted on these.
Yeah, this is definitely one I didn't watch either. So.
But it's a pretty good theme song, so let's give it a chance. Honking the horn, pulling up. That's
I did not expect that.
Yeah, it was every intro, but it's the Waltons, and I did not like this show because it was just so less interesting than Little House. But it was the same time period. It was on from 72 to 81, so it started a little before Little House, but it would just...
I don't even know much about this show.
I don't either. All I know is
just family...
That famous
drama.
line.
Yeah, it's set in the 30s, 40s, Virginia. Had like... I just remember that it was the same thing. There was a grandma and a grandpa, and they had a bunch of kids. The most famous thing this show is famous for is John Boy, the guy with the mole in his face that was in It.
right.
And they'd always say, "Good night, John Boy." I mean, you've had to have heard that in your life. Maybe not nowadays, but Good Night, John Boy. This is what it's from.
Something your grandparents said. If you had if all the family was in the one.
Shut up, Grandpa. That's not my name.
Good night, you. And somebody go, good night, John Boy. Like that was always the joke. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, how did the fans vote? Because they get to pick what goes through.
Yeah, so this one ended up 100% Little House.
We had a lot of votes too, but it was it was a sweep. I would have I could, as far as shows, Little House way better. I don't really think either theme song does a lot for me. So
no, me either. I mean, I didn't think that was that's kind of a catchy little tune or whatever.
Once it gets into the that was the hook of it.
Yeah.
So we don't get to pick; they picked. So
and we agree.
We agree. Good job. So now it's going up against, again, one of the most famous family shows ever.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in curls.
It's the story of a man named Brady who was busy with 3 boys of his own. They were 4 men living all together.
This has Sam the Butcher.
Yeah.
Now we got it.
Yes, Sam the Butcher. This one. Well, that's a great callback. 3 shows later.
That this group must somehow form a family. That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. That's the way we be.
Yeah,
so we got the Brady Bunch with A&B Davis. Guys, I like the fact that you just said you never seen Little House or the Waltons. I guess, have you ever watched the Brady Bunch?
I never liked it that much.
Wow.
But I've probably seen half of them or more.
I've seen them each 1,000 times.
At a certain era of your childhood, it was just on some channel every day.
Yeah, I watched a lot of the Brady Bunch, and it was okay. Like I think I liked remember when they went to Kings Island over in Cincinnati?
Had the poster in there instead of Mike's architectural plans.
I like those episodes when I think Davy Jones was on an episode.
Yeah.
And they went to Hawaii. That was probably my favorite episode.
They didn't have
the
luck.
tiki.
The picture fell down, almost killed somebody.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I've seen them all 1,000 times.
I know, even at that young age, it felt a little corny to me. Like, I know that's the appeal of it for a lot of people, but it just felt the laugh tracky.
But you have one of the best TV fathers, Mike Brady. He's an architect. He's like, man, I want to be an architect like Mike Brady. He's got his own den there, easel. And he's just, what a great dad. And there's something heartwarming about these family shows. All these kids, and of course somebody's gonna have a problem or whatever. But
and a little bit, I'm just thinking now, like it's kind of
a
mixed
broken family. Yeah,
you're dealing with divorced parents.
I was reading an article about something. I don't remember what it was in, but I was reading an article not too long ago about the Brady Bunch and how they addressed that Mike Brady had been divorced.
Yeah.
Or no, widowed. He was widowed.
Right.
But Carol, they never really mentioned, but the idea was that she was divorced.
Oh, okay.
But it was taboo still to have a divorcee,
Yeah. That comes up in a few shows, things like that, but yeah, I didn't remember ever hearing exactly what happened. I remember, of course,
it's just explained. It's explained.
Okay, let me ask you this. Remember the dog?
Do I remember? I remember the dog house.
Exactly. What do you remember the dog's name? Come on, everybody knows the dog's name.
Cousin Oliver.
No, but yes, that's exactly when that's a good example of what happens. So the show runs so long. This show was on from 69 to only 74.
Wow.
It was right in that range where they aged. I mean, that's what it says. That feels very short to me, but I think it actually
silver spoons, silver platters
is what the dog say.
Are we still guessing?
What's the silver platter?
That was the name of their singing group.
When Pete's voice was changing. Is that what you're talking about? Pork chops and applesauce. The dog's name was Tiger.
Oh, that's
But
right.
it was only on, if I'm right, I was thinking it was only on for like the first season, not even 5 episodes. And then the dog got hit by a car in real life.
Oh.
And they never replaced it. But the AstroTurf,
Yeah.
a lighted fellow burnt the AstroTurf, so they had to leave the doghouse there to cover up that spot. So it was always there, but there was
did not
never
know that.
any more dog.
Yeah. How about that?
Oh, that's good stuff. Right
Yeah,
there. Cool.
that's pretty good. Yeah, they had a if you
Pretty
go back to Ka-Pow history, and so Michael mentioned his lost dimension he was from, and he talked about one time the Brady, I don't remember if it was a series or a movie. I think it was a series back in the 90s that apparently happened, but nobody remembers it. What?
Yeah, that's one of those Berenstain
Yeah.
things.
There was a thing. I think there was some sort of Brady thing. They got back together. I remember them as adults getting back together. And now currently this week, there's the thing where they redid the house.
Yeah.
They did the inside like it was in there. Anyway, remember, and of course it's Sam the Butcher's when Bobby had to save Greg. He was locked in the freezer. Come on.
Come on.
You don't remember that? Come on, man.
All right.
Bobby?
We've said enough.
That gets
Okay.
my vote over Little
Yes,
House.
Brady Bunch crushes
Brady
Little
Bunch.
House in the theme song. Okay, we got 2 more families. First, we got the Evans family.
Good time. Anytime you need a payment. Good time. You need a free. Good time. Anytime you're out from under. Not getting hassled. Not getting hustled. Keeping your head above water. Making a way when you can. Temporary layoffs. Good times. Easy credit rip-offs. Good times. Scratching and surviving. Good times. Hanging in a job. Good times. Ain't we lucky we got 'em? Good times.
As it squeezes in on the painting of the mirror. This is a Norman Lear show. There's going to be a few of those on this list.
Yeah.
This was a spin-off of Maude, which was also a Norman Lear show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Florida was her housekeeper, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I thought if Jordan has never seen this, he would love it because it's about poor people.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always loved that her name was Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And John Amos that was on, Mr. McDowell was on there. We had Janet Jackson was on there as Penny. She was a little girl. Did you ever watch this, Jordan?
I've seen a little here and there, but it was never a regular thing.
Yeah, I never watched much of this.
And Jimmy Walker as JJ.
Hello, lucky person. You got the number right, because you are talking to Kid a Dynamite! Dynamite! Pure dynamite! Dynamite! It's so sexy they almost turned me on.
Shows, I miss catchphrases.
They're
They're great. It's great. Yeah, say your catchphrase, audience goes crazy. It's
Bazinga.
so fun.
Anyway, that's a great theme song. It's up against one of the music families.
Hello world, here's a song that we're singing. Come on, get happy. A whole lot of loving is what we'll be bringing. We'll make you happy. We have a dream, we go traveling together. We spread a little love and we'll keep moving on. Something always happens whenever we're together. We get a happy feeling when we're singing a song. Traveling along, there's a song that we're singing. Come on, get happy.
Man, the Partridge Family.
Yeah. Shirley Jones, David Cassidy, Susan Day, Danny Bonaducci.
Bonaducci.
Come on.
Come on. Hey,
Yeah,
did you?
she was originally supposed to be Carol Brady,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could have seen that.
but she
yeah.
didn't want to be the she didn't want to be cast as like the mom pulling the roast out of the oven. She said, little did she know she would have had a maid. come on. Yeah, we had Keith, Lori, and Danny as Danny. I didn't love the show. What Ruben, the manager. Did you guys watch any or much?
Just
of this?
a little bit. I remember the bus and bits and pieces, but nothing concrete. Nothing really stuck there.
Yeah,
so
same here.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but
And I think like all these kids blew up. These were some of the most famous human beings on earth for the stretch this show was on.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Did you know Kate Cassidy from Arrow is David Cassidy's daughter?
I don't know.
I did not know that until recently. I guess they had an estranged relationship, but yeah, how about that? He recently passed away.
Yes.
All right, one job. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going to say I mean, that's an iconic song. That's why it's on the list. But I prefer the Good Times song.
Good Times, definitely. Like I said, Partridge Family was enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Those people were superstars. Couldn't walk down the street. But, Good Times had a huge cultural impact. I remember there's a Chappelle Show bit where he was going like quizzing folks about the lyrics.
Yeah.
And every African American he talked to knew every word of the lyrics. Like, struggling and surviving, good times, and like they knew the next line. And it's like, we talk about a limited options that we had as kids. If you weren't white, your options were much more limited on seeing someone who looked like you on screen. So
when you watch that, the opening to Good Times, and at the end it goes down to that oil painting of them. It's called the Sugar Shack, and Eddie Murphy has that. He owns that painting.
Oh yeah. Huge culturally important. But for two shows I don't have much to go with. I think Partridge Family is probably a better song for me. So it's up to you there.
Yeah, I was leaning heavily toward Partridge Family.
Okay.
But
you
just voted for the Partridge Family, but I kind of feel like you convinced me the Good Times is better.
You were the one that made the argument. And I am also locked in now with mine, and you voted the other.
There's no rules. You can unlock.
I still go Good Times. You go Partridge Family.
Well, the winner has to go against Brady Bunch. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna Good Times.
Okay. Well, I think Brady Bunch beats either of them. That's my pick.
Agreed.
Okay, so go to the bottom half of the Northwest bracket. With this show was as big as you could get at the time. I know a lot of people you don't remember that, but this was enormous.
Just seeing this on here got me excited.
I know.
Come and knock on our door.
Come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting for you.
The kisses are hers and his. Three's company too. Come and dance on our floor.
Come and dance on our floor.
Take a step that is new.
Take a step that is new.
We've a lovable space that needs your face. Three's company too. You'll see that life is a ball again. Laughter is calling for you. Down at our rendezvous.
Down at our rendezvous.
Three's company too.
Three's Company, 77 to 84.
Come on.
Exactly.
that even seems short to me.
Yeah. But it was
like that's a show that feels like it was on for 15 years.
Yeah.
It was so big. Yeah, and they had a revolving cast that originally, of course, we had John Ritter,
Joyce DeWitt, Suzanne Summers.
Exactly. But eventually she left because of contract stuff. Right. And
she was the big star. She was the immediate star of the show.
Yeah.
And then she thought she deserved more, apparently. Allegedly.
They ended up replacing her with someone, I don't even remember. It was supposed to be her cousin, or maybe there was two replacements, because the one that ran longer was Terry, the blonde. Right. Mm-hmm. But there was, I think, a brunette that played her cousin that just wasn't a big...
No, she wasn't brunette. She was blonde, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I just don't remember her. John Ritter was great. The whole premise, if you don't know, was there's two girls and a guy living together to save on rent. They were pooling their money to rent a place, but you couldn't live together. The Ropers weren't going to allow you to live together. Well, because they think you're doing foul things.
Yeah.
But so John Ritter, Jack Tripper would pretend he was gay. So then obviously
then it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay if he was gay. He was just living with these girls. The Ropers were great because Mrs. Roper was like super like hypersexualized. She wanted it so bad, and Mr. Roper, played by Norman Fell, had no interest. He was like, "It's not happening." No, she always wanted it, and he wasn't giving it to her.
Stanley.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted to. They ended up getting a spinoff.
Yeah, called the Ropers.
Yeah, and they had a thing in their contract that if it didn't
work out,
they could come back, but they never did let them come back.
Well, they replaced him with Don Knotts.
Yeah, Mr. Furley,
right,
who was great.
Yeah.
So
of course you had Larry upstairs.
Yeah. He was like, and they had a Regal Beagle. They'd go to the all of them went to the Regal Beagle. They'd see everyone there, and they'd just go to the Regal Beagle and hang out.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite first television shows. I love this show, and there was a second spinoff too. Jack,
Three's a Crowd.
Yeah, Three's a Crowd. Yeah.
He got married, or he proposed at the end of the whole series,
right?
And they got who was the third?
It was her father.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was her dad.
It didn't last very long.
No.
Like most times when they try to do that with but anyway, was when this came out, it was really big.
John Ritter was a gifted comedian, unappreciated for his time. Like, he was physical comedy, just amazing.
Yeah, what was so funny is that they would do all these things. There's all these typical misunderstandings and things. It's all the sexual innuendo. If someone over here, Chrissy's got a bun in the oven. Well, it's all the stuff talking about it when she's cooking something,
Yeah.
But they'll be talking about each other in the same room. So much happens in like a small space. Some people don't just turn around and talk to each other.
Yeah, it wasn't a big set. It was just it was their apartment.
Yeah.
Mainly the living room. You had this wonderful swinging door into the kitchen.
You would step up. I think he stepped up into the bedroom, and it's like too many levels in this.
Levels, Jerry. Levels.
Yeah, I love this theme song. The opening where they're riding their bikes and they're going to they're at the San Diego Zoo.
All I always picture is he falls off his bike when that girl walks by or skates by or whatever she's doing.
Yeah, I definitely remember being very young, maybe not getting all the jokes, but one of those shows where I recognize the pattern, where literally every episode there's a misunderstanding and things escalate. Like, I understood that at a very young age, that there is there's a repetition to these shows, but they were always funny.
Right.
And he lusting after the girls, and they would always shoot him down. So, and again, like, there were no gay people on TV back then, so not that I'm sure it's not the most woke show. There were a lot of stereotypical, like, he would behave gay, quote unquote, to fool.
But it was never in the negative.
Yeah,
remember it wasn't what his job was?
Who, Jack?
Yeah,
he was a chef.
Right. Okay, good job.
That's a little gay.
Great job. Jordan's canceled.
No, it's terrible. But yeah, like, just they weren't. It wasn't like, get out of my house. I can't have a gay person. It was like, as long as you're gay, like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. So yes, as you can tell, we are going to run really long, but this is the last episode of this, so we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, I'm very, very high on this one. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of great ones on here, and I mean great ones. But man, Three's Company,
it's a great show. I love the theme, and I love the theme song, but you don't get much more iconic than the one it's up against.
Mobile Army Surgical Hospital.
Hey, I love it. I don't know. I believe it. That sounds right.
MASH.
Based on the movie, they came with a TV series that was on from 72 to 83. Really long running, hugely popular, laughing through the pain show.
Very strange for a TV show spinoff to have usurped pop culture. When people think of MASH, they don't think of Elliot Gould.
Certainly not.
Yeah, so
Right.
It's an acclaimed.
Yes, Donald Sutherland.
Yes, it's an acclaimed, beloved movie, but it's the show is what people remember.
Of course, Alan Alda. We've had this trivia question twice. As Hawkeye Pierce. Some of the characters, of course, Jamie Farr as Klinger was only supposed to be on one episode, but became hugely popular. He was like cross-dressing.
Again, a cross-dresser.
So early
that
on.
Everyone was like, okay, he's weird, but.
Yeah. Well, he was doing it to try to get
right.
Right.
But no one shunned him. Or, he was just one of the crew.
Colonel Potter, B.J. Honeycutt,
Radar.
Loretta Swit with Hot Pants Houlihan,
Hot Lips.
Hot Lips. That's right, Hot Lips. Radar O'Reilly, Charles Winchester, Frank Burns,
and Larry Hama was in the show.
He was
as
a Korean soldier.
Yeah, friend of show, Larry Hama.
I didn't watch a lot of it. It was a little
pretend.
It was pretty serious for me as a kid.
Yeah, I didn't watch much. Very, very tiny amount. It didn't hold my attention, so I would be off, playing with toys and stuff rather than watch this.
Yeah, this famously, the show lasted longer than the Korean War did.
Right.
It had a laugh track, except when they were in the operating room. So they kind of compromised that, when we're out on the base, funny things happen, we chuckle, and then they'd go in the operating room and their smocks would have blood all over them, and, Alan Alda would be, being sarcastic or cynical, but there was no laugh track. We took it very seriously. This was still life and death.
And that was one of the best things about the show. That touch, you really noticed that, and it laid so much gravity in those scenes. You really got that, serious emotional feel of what they were dealing with, and why, while the jokes, contrasted with that.
And very, anti-war in a sort of way of, that gallows humor that, we're out here living and dying and we're not sure why at all. In a time of Watergate and Vietnam, and right after it's set in the Korean War, but it's basically commenting on the Vietnam War. So yeah, this was my mom's favorite show, probably still is. We watched it anytime it was on. She still watches it on MeTV or whatever. She'll tune in whenever she can. So I've seen a ton of these. And yeah, that theme song is very nostalgic for me. And the title of the song?
Suicide is Painless.
Right. So it does have lyrics, but they wisely didn't put the lyrics
But they did in the movie.
Yeah, the movie had the lyrics.
Yeah.
Suicide is painless. It brings on many changes. That wouldn't have flied on the prime time.
So what are you voting for?
I'm voting for MASH.
What do you think, Cliff?
Come on, knock on my door.
We've been waiting for you. I really like both theme songs, but it is a no-brainer for me. MASH. I think that's just
so disappointed.
It's a beautiful. I mean, it makes me nostalgic. The thing is, some of these, it's just the nostalgia so much, and with an emotional song or whatever, just does it for me. So that definitely goes through for me. Okay, we got a couple of shows here.
I could have rode Three's Company all the way through this thing.
I know, I hate to do that to you, but
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're going to rock around the clock tonight. The glad rags on, join me behind. We'll have some fun when the clock strikes 1. We're going to rock around the clock tonight. We're going to rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. We're going to rock around the clock tonight. When the clock strikes 2, 3, and 4, if the band slows down, we'll yell for more. We're going
Was
to
this
rock
theme for the whole run?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe the first season had a different song, but I could be crazy.
I could crazy.
Okay.
I don't know.
There is something to that. You're right. I remember it was something was different.
You say so. I don't remember.
But this is the one people know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can imagine, the
absolutely.
records come up, their faces are in the center of the record.
Only other song I equate with this show is Richie singing I found my thrill. He'd walk around as his song, whenever he was feeling like having some sexy time with whatever his girlfriend's name was. Happy Days, of course, from 74 to 84. This, again, enormously popular. It had everything. It really did. It was funny. It was a good family show. They dealt with situations all across the spectrum, and it ran forever. Again, it ran too long. It's famous for running too long.
Yeah.
It set the bar for running too long. Jumping the Shark is based on
An episode.
I have some problems with that nomenclature, but
okay. Let's hear it.
this might be my only time to get this off my chest, so
Yeah.
I'm going to lay it out. It should technically be Burn Down Arnold's.
Okay.
Boy, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. really burned down Arnold's in the third season because there were still good shows after Fonzie literally jumped the shark. But there's a scene where after Potsy was brought in, Scott Baio, he accidentally burns down Arnold.
It's two different people.
Chachi.
Chachi. No, yeah, Potsy was there.
Potsy was
Yeah.
Anson.
Williams.
Yeah. So, yeah, Chachi burns down Arnold's,
I
the
remember
restaurant.
That was good.
And when they put it, and so that's a good episode.
Yeah.
And Fonzie, he's so irresponsible, and they yell. And from then on, there was a different set, and it was all like wood paneling.
Yeah. And that's when they brought in that what's his face, Ted McGinley, as Roger.
So there were new characters. The sets were weird.
It became the Roger and Chachi show.
Yeah, Richie had left for college, and there are no good episodes after that. So I would like to submit we all start saying "Burn Down Arnold's." But
that's what we're doing.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I love Happy Days enough that I know what you're talking about, and I totally agree with you.
Do you guys remember the episode where the Fonz was teaching some kind of... I want to say it was... No, maybe that was a two different episodes. But there was one where he goes blind.
Yes.
And he has to put...
He has to put his motorcycle back together.
Yes. That was so great.
Because he was feeling useless.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. He had to put his freaking motorcycle back together.
Arthur Fonzarelli, Henry Winkler, one of the best characters in the history of TV. The gold standard when it comes to breakout characters. Yeah, he didn't have any lines the first couple episodes. Mm-hmm. He wasn't
supposed to be. He was supposed to be a greaser, and they're like, "Hey, you need to comb your hair a lot." And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want his character to be a greaser like that. So that's why first time he got up there, he took a comb out and was like, "I don't need to do this." They never did it. He even says to Richie at one point, one of the episodes, he's like, "I've had this comb for this many years. It's never touched my hair."
So yeah, he was just magnetic. This camera just
he was the
drawn to him.
Of this hot take, the Urkel of
yes.
Happy Days.
Yeah. Let's add that nomenclature as well. But yeah, wonderful cast. Mr. and Mrs. C were terrific in the role. I loved Fonzie and Mrs. C's relationship.
Exactly,
it was weird.
That was so good.
It was
motherly,
flirty,
yet but flirty. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Of course, originally Pat Morita was Arnold,
right?
And that was what the place was named after. And he was replaced by Al Molinaro. It was always called. Did they change it to Al's at one point? I think they did. Maybe when the Wooden Place. I think the Wooden Place was called Al's. Maybe. Been. I don't know, but the band always played on the little riser there.
Pinky Tuscadero.
Leather Tuscadero.
Jenny Piccolo, all his names. Joni Loves Chachi was a spinoff.
Mork from Mork.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a spinoff, yeah.
Laverne and Shirley.
Yep. This was a huge show, and I loved it.
An interesting factoid, much like Tiger from the Brady Bunch, Chuck Cunningham was also hit by a car and never came back on the show.
I remember we did see him. He always had basketball in his hand.
Yeah, he was on the first couple episodes, an older brother to Richie, and then was famously just written off the show, never mentioned again.
Yeah.
Joni Loves Chachi, another spinoff.
Yep. Yeah. So it's up against one of those spinoffs here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Laverne and Shirley.
like
I remember my
that.
parents
I like that
watching
song.
Laverne and Shirley.
Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated.
Yeah.
You know what a Schlemiel and Schlemazel are?
Not a clue.
It's Yiddish. Schlemiel is someone that spills their soup, and Schlemazel is the guy that the soup gets spilled on. And of course, we know what Hassenpfeffer is. Where have you heard Hassenpfeffer?
Isn't that where they work?
What?
Is that where they
The bottling plant?
bottling plant?
No, that's Schatz
Yeah.
Brewery, I think it was. No, Hassenpfeffer was. I remember that from Bugs Bunny. Because it's a rabbit stew. They would make Hassenpfeffer, and he'd get in the pot. You know, somebody's making it. They're cooking him, but he's just like eating the carrots and doesn't care or whatever. Whatever. I guess I'm older than you. Or I paid more attention to Hassenpfeffer. Okay. Anyway, they work at Schatz. Shirley Feeney, Laverne DeVazio, her dad Frank. I think he had like a pizza place or / bowling alley. I can't remember. I was young. Carmine Ragusa, the big ragu.
Yeah.
Was dating Shirley. Laverne, the most famous thing for that show, she had an L on her sweater and she drank milk and Pepsi.
That's right.
It sounds really gross to me, but milk and
Had
Pepsi.
Lenny and Squiggy.
Lenny and Squiggy, Michael McKean
Yep.
went on. He's still
Yeah, he's still going.
around.
Yeah.
Still around. Did Better Call Saul. This was no Happy Days, but of course Cindy Williams. She got her start with
American Graffiti.
Yeah,
George Lucas.
Yeah, with what's his face? What's his name? Opie.
Richie Cunningham.
Yeah, exactly. We met Ron Howard.
Ronnie Opie Howard.
Yeah. So they were together on that, and that turned into all of this.
So the 70s, there was a big nostalgia craze for the 50s.
Right.
We had Grease come out. It said American Graffiti.
Yeah.
And
Poodle skirts.
Poodle skirts. Like it was this, let's look back to simpler times. Because
Right.
the 70s, said it would be Vietnam, Watergate. Like we're looking back to, when America was simpler and there was just a huge push for this nostalgia, and these shows fed into it wonderfully.
Mrs. Babish. Remember her?
No.
Did you ever watch
Was she a rabbit?
Yeah, she made Hassenpfeffer. I think she was like, I don't know whether she was their landlord. She just lived in the building.
I've seen some, not a ton. I remember, I remember thinking it was fine.
I remember my parents watching it and like being in front of the TV and with my G.I. Joes or Star Wars or whatever.
That sounds right. That tracks.
And it being on and like they really liked it. But I watched Happy Days and the reruns. So
Snake Eyes' first word was Schlemazel.
So yeah, that's an iconic theme song. It's been parodied. Wayne's World parodied it. A million things have parodied it. Happy Days was it's just a Bill Haley of the Comet song. It's not a written for the show.
Yeah.
So my gut says Happy Days just because I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
But Laverne is probably a better example
They're
of a theme
both,
song.
of course, both great songs. But as a theme song, I would vote Laverne and Shirley.
Laverne and Shirley.
So that goes up against MASH, and I got to go MASH.
MASH is an easy pick for me.
I would have said Laverne and Shirley.
You would have said Three's Company. Then that takes us to Brady Bunch versus MASH, and my core values.
I'm going to jump in and say it.
Well, I'm saying Brady Bunch. I'm going to say it right in front of you.
Okay, I say MASH is still an easy pick for me. MASH is my top seed here.
I've already written down Brady Bunch.
Oh, wow, didn't care.
No one cares. All right,
final four, the Bradys.
All right, now we're down into the Southwest section. The play-in. We put it on Facebook. What'd they say? Yep.
Yeah, we had the first choice was Charlie's Angels.
Okay, this was from 76 to 81. Let's hear it.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little girls who went to the police academy.
It's a little condescending, Charlie.
And they were each assigned very hazardous duties. But I took them away from all that, and now they work for me. My name is Charlie.
It's the same stuff over and
Yeah,
over. But whatever. It's good though. It's a good. No, that's good. You got.
It was a very popular show
You
at the
think?
time.
Kate Jackson as Sabrina, Farrah Fawcett became a cultural icon because of this. Everybody had a Farrah Fawcett poster at that time.
You would see it in movies, like even when you watch old movies, like there was
everybody has one. I mean,
the bedroom.
There's famous posters of her, and Jacqueline Smith was in the entire run as Kelly. At one point, they replaced Farrah with Cheryl Ladd, and who was there. I know why I watched this show. Wow, yeah. So Kate Jackson, Mrs. King. Everybody remember Scarecrow and Mrs. King?
Oh yeah,
Bruce Boxlight.
Yeah,
and then we had David Doyle as Bosley, and then you'd always hear Charlie's voice, and he never was on set. It was John Forsythe.
Right.
He didn't really want to have anything to do with it. They got him at the last second, like when they were filming. They were like, "Okay, we need a voice," and they all drove famous, cars. The biggest one was Cheryl Ladd and Jill Farrah Fawcett. They drove a Cobra. I remember that white Cobra. I remember for having the Matchbox cars. They were everywhere. But it was all. This is one of the. I believe it's one of those Aaron Spelling shows. He
that sounds about right.
Shows. Did you watch much of this, Jordan?
No, I'm just realizing there, Cliff. There's a show not on this list.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
He already said Mickey Mouse something.
I don't see Wonder Woman on this list.
Nope.
To me,
that's true.
That's a better song. I think we should sub in Wonder Woman for Charlie. That's a lady hero we can get behind.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How's the theme song?
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonder Woman.
Sounds good. But is it better than what is up against Charlie's Angels?
This song to me never fit the show.
Oh yeah, I like this part. Wait, shh. Driving across the bridge in the taxi.
I kind of agree, though. It didn't really fit the
Wasn't
show.
hard enough for it. Is that your problem? I like it. I just like that song. What'd they say?
Yeah, so the results were, in case you don't know, it is Taxi.
Yeah, it's a New York City taxi cab company with a cast that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Judd Hirsch, Danny DeVito, Mary Lou Henner, Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza, Andy Kaufman, Christopher Lloyd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somebody in my family just made a Reverend Jim Ignatowski reference literally last weekend. So
of course they did.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd is wonderful in that show.
Yeah, it again, I was a little young for it. I'm sure we all were too young to appreciate it at the time. But Jeff Conaway, of course. But it's good. These are really talented people getting together, making a show. So I'm sure you could go back now and watch it and get something out of it.
Right. Oh, yeah, sure.
But not one of my favorite shows. But I do like the theme song.
Yeah,
I definitely like it better than Charlie's Angels. What did the people say?
The Jessies voted, and they voted 71% Taxi, 29%
nice.
Charlie's Angels.
Good job, Ka-Pows. Okay, so that was the play-in in this bracket, and it's going up against the show that knocked Brady Bunch off of TV.
organ music.
Yeah.
Serious.
Sanford and Son.
Red Fox.
Lamont.
Fred Sanford. We got Grady. We got everybody. We got Esther.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some Esther.
You were a deadbeat the day my sister married you, and you still a deadbeat today. Listen, Esther, now you know good and well the day I married your sister, I was loaded. Yeah, you was loaded all right. You were so drunk you fell on the preacher. But I had to get drunk to look at your ugly family. Well, that's something you wouldn't understand. We have inner beauty. Yeah, what? Inner beauty. Well, you better put your liver where your face is.
The show was funny. It was inappropriate as heck. I had to cut stuff out of that clip that I could not play. It was again, I was a little young for it, so I didn't appreciate it at the time as much. But
same way.
But he is a really funny guy. I mean, famously, whenever anybody didn't do something he wanted, he'd suddenly have a heart attack. Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you. He died of a heart attack, and they said that's the reason. It's because nobody believed he was really having a heart attack. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but that's what I've heard. What do you think about that, Jordan?
Yeah, from what I remember, I always enjoyed it. They had a great banter back and forth. They owned a junkyard.
Yeah.
So the setting is unique. I can't think of any other show set in a junkyard.
Yeah, it was based on a show called Steptoe and Son, which I think was an English show. It was equivalent of that, and they thought they were just going to be able to remake all the episodes, but it didn't work out the way they planned, and this turned into a much better show.
And a great theme song.
So it goes up against Taxi. What's your vote?
I'd have to go Sanford.
I would also go Sanford and Son.
Yeah, Sanford.
Okay. All right, so we're going against the next matchup. It's going to be a tough one. You guys both cringed when you saw this matchup on the list, but it is kind of the same type of show.
Are they really?
A shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. Michael Knight, a young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, in a world of criminals who operate above the law.
Good stuff.
Man.
Knight Rider, man. I watched this show so much. Oh my gosh. Turbo Boost.
That's what I call 80s.
Yeah, that's a great 80s theme right there. My gosh.
Like trying to sound futuristic.
Yeah.
But it's like weirdly retro at the same time.
The Hoff.
Oh man, we had Kit. Kit was the car.
Does anybody know what Kit stood for? Because I don't.
I don't remember.
Then there was Car. K-A-R-R.
Was it not Ignite?
Industries.
Something technology.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. I remember, of course, the voice of the car is William McDaniel, who I always think of as Mr. Feeney on Boy Meets World, but my mom said it was the guy from St. Elsewhere. Which was on. Kit was, they came out with the F-body in 82. Which could be a Camaro or Trans Am, but this was the Firebird.
Yeah.
They used that. At one point they put I remember it had some aerodynamics added to it that it didn't need. That car is a very aerodynamic car, which was proven in the salt flats and things. They could go, 200, 300 miles an hour in that with that body, but of course they had to add some stuff for the show. I always, they had the auto cruise or whatever, where you could just have it drive itself. I don't know that I liked that there was no steering wheel. It was just like...
I was thinking it was actually on later than it was.
Yeah, 82 through 86. I thought it was on longer.
Well, I just thought I didn't realize it started in 82. Like, I was thinking it came along after that.
Yeah, because I remember watching when episodes premiered.
Yeah,
I would have been very young.
Right.
I liked it when I saw the guy that played Edward Mulhare, the guy that played Devin Miles. Well, he also played fake Devin Miles, by the way. But I thought he looked like the guy from Punky Brewster. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get to play Punky!
Punky.
No, it's not him. It's just another old guy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great if he was the voice of Kit?
That would be awesome.
Michael. Turbo boost.
This was just like I'm not going to say because I want to spoil one of the later things on the list, but it was the same thing. I'll tell you when we get there.
Yeah, I remember. Must have been about the same time as Hardcastle McCormick was on.
Ooh, Skid Mark McCormick.
Yeah.
Brian Keith from Family Affair.
I really like that.
The Coyote.
Show. Yeah.
I love that car. I love cars. I love all these. I've got a whole display in there.
Yeah, somewhere there's a drawer in my brain that has like Knight Rider, Hardcastle McCormick, and like Airwolf all in there in that drawer.
Yeah, so. I'm there. I'm in that drawer. You open it up, and I'm like, hey. I love that stuff. All right, so it's up against another guy that has to save everybody. Magnum P.I. Jordan's smiling. I can tell he loves him some Tom Selleck. Mustache, Detroit Tigers hat, driving a red Ferrari 308 GTS with the Robin 1 license plate.
Great stuff. Yeah, if there's one show my mom liked more than MASH, it was Magnum P.I.
Oh, my mom loved Magnum.
Yeah,
this was a
Tom
show
Selleck
that we were watching together.
Yeah.
I'm like, heck yeah. Got freaking Island Hoppers, TC, Rick. I think I'm from Casablanca. Yeah.
So yeah, they were Vietnam vets, buddies. Retired and moved to Hawaii.
Yeah. The reason it was supposed to be in Southern California, but they ended up in Hawaii because Hawaii 5.0 ended right before this started, and they wanted to use the same production studios.
What was the butler's name?
There was no butler. Butler. You're messed up. Wow. You don't remember Magnum P.I. Right?
I don't. We didn't watch
Mr. Belvedere, obviously. No, there was Higgins. Who was not the butler.
Oh, I thought he was the butler.
No.
He was like the caretaker.
Right.
Robin Masters' estate.
Robin Masters owned the estate, and Higgins was the caretaker. But secretly, Jordan, are you about to spoil it for him?
Go for it.
I already knew this.
Yeah.
You knew that the butler was really Robin Masters?
Yeah. I remember. My grandma watched this show, but I was too busy watching Knight Rider.
You were playing with your freaking...
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. Anyway... I loved this show. They had the Audi 5000 was Robin 2. They had sometimes it was a GMC Jimmy was Robin 3 license plate. Sometimes it was a Jeep Cherokee. Of course, they had the two. What, Jordan? What did they have two of on that show?
The Dobermans,
right?
Zeus and Apollo.
Yes, Zeus and Apollo. I didn't remember their names. I'm glad you did.
I think that's what they were.
Yeah, that sounds right. Fun show. There's always some gorgeous lady on there. He's got to help in his too short shorts and Hawaiian shirt.
The shorts were exceedingly short. Yes, it was the 80s.
A little short.
Now, was this show the reason why he could not be Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Okay. He couldn't get out of the contract
under
or whatever.
contract.
Yeah, but then actually in some of this show, he wasn't in as much of some of the episodes. They would focus on the other guys because he had a pretty strong movie career at the time, doing some things they could find time for him on.
Yeah,
and he's had a career ever since. I mean, he's still on Blue Bloods and all. Like, he's had a
he was on
CBS
Friends.
Yeah, he's worked nonstop since then.
Still with the stash. Famous for the mustache. I mean, when you think of a famous actor with a mustache, this is the number one guy, I would think.
Or Sam Elliott, maybe.
Who?
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, I guess. But this is the guy. I have to mention that in our role-playing game, Jordan is a recurring character who is named Magnum, who is looking for his friend TC, Tuss Cheeks.
What species am I?
You are a dwarf.
I'm a dwarf.
You're looking for a Kunari who is named Tusk.
Okay,
Cheeks.
so I couldn't come up with a dwarf name, and I went to one of those random names.
I still always write down Hamish.
And I was gonna go with Hamish from Braveheart, but I was like, that's not a dwarf name. Come on, that's silly. And it gave me 900 recommendations. Like, I can't go with it. And one of the recommendations was Magnum. I was like, that's it. We got
Absolutely. Anyway, okay. So this is a pretty tough choice. I'll be honest with you, having, cut these clips, I was pretty heavily leaning Knight Rider, but after listening to them right now, I really enjoyed Magnum PI. So I want to hear you guys out. How do you feel?
I'm voting Knight Rider. I can tell you real quick.
Well, we know who you are. We know.
It's a better theme song.
We know who you are.
It's a great theme song. They're both great.
They are both great.
Very nostalgic. I have more nostalgia for Magnum, so I'm not sure if that's what's pulling me that direction or not. But I would not be offended by either choice, but I think I would go Mag.
Wow. So it's up to me. Can I hear a snippet of each? Because we may not get to hear one of them ever again. It helps. The beginning is really great.
The opening.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Man, it is
and
awesome.
You see the dust rising and the cars coming in.
Oh, I just think Magnum has more longevity to the song. Let's hear it. The guy on rhythm guitar is just getting down.
You can see Magnum
right
doing the eyebrow thing.
His tan line. A little too much. Wow. That is really tough. That's really tough. Oh,
I don't see the problem.
I wish I had. I know we do these play-ins. I know I probably shouldn't be talking about this on there, but we do these play-ins, and I'm like, let them make that decision. This is one I'm really curious what the crowd
would have went.
I'm curious what the crowd would have said, because I honestly think they would say Knight Rider because they wouldn't go listen to him.
I think we're more of a Knight Rider.
Crowd.
We're a Knight Rider crowd in a Magnum world.
It's because I think Knight Rider.
That's our new T-shirt.
Knight Rider is more memorable. Like you hear it in your head. Like you say Knight Rider, and I think of that opening.
The beginning is too hot to touch.
The voiceover's a little iffy though.
That's what kills it for me is the voiceover.
I think it was just that's a very 80s, A-Team type of.
It really is.
Yeah.
And yet somehow Magnum was able to pull it off from 80 to 88. I'm going with Magnum PI. So that puts Magnum up against Sanford and Son.
Magnum for me.
You big cold-blooded dummy.
I don't think he likes your choice.
I'll say Magnum.
Yeah, it's a sweep. All right. So, guys, I am loving this episode. This is a solid gold straight down the line.
I'm still a little upset about this.
I know you've lost. You've taken some hard hits there, Cliff. Okay, we're down at the bottom half of the southwest section And there's a lot of songs on here that I whistle all the time. I'm just going to tell you. Okay. This is the show that I equated with Fantasy Island. They were the same show.
Yeah, I get that.
Exciting and new.
Oh, how schmaltzy is
I love it.
Shush.
Here we go.
We're expecting you and love.
It's not putting on a butterfly collar.
Let it flow. It floats back to you.
Here we go.
Is something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new road, man.
Yeah.
I could listen to it all day. Because love
What?
won't hurt anymore.
What an original idea for a television show. It's on a cruise ship. Nobody's done that
Pacific
before.
Princess.
So it was able to have a rotating cast.
Yeah, all these guest stars
As
would
a
come on.
feature, there's a good reason why there'd be somebody new every episode.
Right.
Gavin McLeod as Captain Steubing. We had Gopher, Isaac the bartender, the doctor, I don't know his name, Julie, the cruise director, the little girl, Captain Steubing's daughter, I can't remember her name, but the reason I said it's like Fantasy Island, which doesn't really have a theme song to speak of, but they always had, like you said, a revolving cast of people that were in other shows would come on there and be a guest, and they would basically have their fantasies fulfilled, like on Fantasy Island they would, but also on the Love Boats, like they would find love or whatever they were trying to fix would get solved.
On a boat.
Or an island. It's the same thing.
Man, if there was a band that made theme songs about TV shows that didn't have theme songs,
Right.
Fantasy Island would be a great
Exactly. We should do one. I like this show. I remember watching it. It was stupid.
Yeah.
It was dumb, but it had a bazillion episodes. It was on from 76 to 90.
Was it really? Wow.
It was
Straight, or was it like?
I have no idea. That's just
I feel
what it
like there
says.
was a retread. Maybe.
I don't doubt it.
Something happened there. Like,
200. Okay, 87. So
Okay.
to 87.
Still.
Hour episodes, 250 of them. They're all like romantically based. It was Dr. Adam Bricker. It won 8 Golden Globes. It was a big show. It is up against... Again, I love this song.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, we tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Cotter. Gabe Kaplan.
Who? What?
When? All right, Vinnie Barbarino, John Travolta. I mean,
The Sweat Hogs, man.
The Sweat Hogs. I got Arnold Horshack. Do the laugh. Come on. Come on. Close enough. Juan Epstein, Freddie Boom Boom Washington. Yeah, John Travolta, up your nose with a rubber hose.
Yeah.
Was this one on for a lot of years? This one's
I don't think it was on for a long time.
It was 75 to 79.
Oh, okay. That's longer than I thought.
He was Gabe Kaplan plays Gabe somebody. A teacher comes back to the inner city to help these kids, and oh, sorry. Duh. Anyway, he comes back and he's like just trying to help these.
But
kids.
he was a sweat hog.
Oh, okay.
In the show, when he was a kid, he was a sweat hog. That was the gang name, or for the delinquent students,
right.
And then he comes back as a teacher to his old school, and has to whip the sweat hogs into shape.
Yeah, I was gonna grab a clip from this, but they're all pretty much unplayable.
Yeah.
They were all very racist.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. At the time, nobody knows it, but it was all about, like, you're greasy, you're this, you're that. So, anyway. But at the time, it was a fun show. And these guys were like the living Fat Albert kids or whatever. It was like that type of show. They were all just like, they were all characters. Incredible song. As much as I love the Love Boat and have whistled it all my life, I love even more Welcome Back, Kotter.
Jordan?
I don't have real strong leanings either way.
All right.
I've seen each a handful of times. I remember liking Kotter. I don't think Love Boat was for me, but that's a great crooning theme song.
Exciting and new.
Yeah, it was a very famous theme song.
And you see the portholes,
right?
You see all the faces of the stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
very Gilligan's Island there.
So I could go that way and leave you with the final choice, or if that's...
Huh?
Yeah, I'll go Love Boat.
We'll be making another run.
Yeah, it's Kotter.
All right, good. All right.
Kotter. Mr. Kotter.
Let's we got a show and then a spin-off from that show.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born, he's a man of means. Then along come two, they got nothing but the dreams, but they got
nothing but the dreams.
different strokes to move the world. Everybody.
Alan Thicke is singing this song.
You're kidding me. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel very educated tonight.
I'm here for you. It's very slightly a spin-off. It has a spin-off because Edna Garrett was the housekeeper on the show for a season or two before she went on to something else. But we have Todd Bridges and Dana Plato.
Yep.
This is the show, Gary Coleman, of course, is where Mr. Drummond, I believe it was supposed to be his previous housekeeper had died and he adopted her kids or their kids. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't remember. But I think it's something like that. He adopted their kids. Willis, don't you talk? You talk about Willis,
right?
And Arnold. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I full disclosure, today, before we recorded this, I watched The Bicycle Man. I had recorded it last week and showed you that it was on. It was so funny because I came home and it was on me. I was like, Different Strokes on MeTV. It's like, I need to see if The Bicycle Man is on sometime. I haven't watched it since I was a kid. It was literally the next episode. I was like, oh my gosh, do they just show this on a loop? I don't know. I taped it.
Yeah.
I watched it today, and oh my God.
If you're not a long-time listener of this podcast, you need to go back, okay? Go back. We did an episode about our top 10 all-time villains. And I did
I forgot what it was from.
And I did a bit where one of my choices was from that episode called The Bicycle Man, where Mr. Horton was
messed up the guy from Sesame Street. I almost said it was Mr. Hooper.
Oh no. No. But Mr. Horton owned a bicycle shop and he was a pedophile and he lures in Arnold and his friend Dudley.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying to a generation. It was a very special episode.
Well, I just watched it. He has the one kid. Well, I don't remember the other kid's name, but he has a big.
Jordan's got one.
He's like got the kid riding on his back, and then he's like jumping on the bed with him and stuff, and drinking wine. Drinking wine.
Yeah.
Arnold goes home smelling like wine,
right?
And his brother and sister don't say anything.
No, he confesses to them.
Yeah, they're just like we won't say anything. Like, your little brother's drinking wine, you're not gonna say anything,
right? Yeah.
It was really weird, but I don't know. I don't know. It was very unsettling. And the dad of the other kid comes over to Mr. Drummond, and he's like, "Hey, I hate to bring this up. Could you not let my son drink wine?" And he's like, "I just thought that was so crazy. You know,
these are little kids."
Yeah, he's like, obviously, I did not let your son drink wine. You know, he's lying to you. It was somebody else. You know, it was Mr. freaking Horton.
Right.
But
the bicycle man.
Yeah, the bicycle man. He sells bicycles.
Yeah. But other than that episode, that's what, we remember now because of that bit. But I was a big fan of this show. I liked it a lot. I remember watching it, in its original run. It was just for the most part, it was a good, fun sitcom.
Right. Yeah. Gary Coleman, poor guy, he got robbed by his parents, basically. They spent all his money. By the time he was able to sue him for it, it was gone.
Yeah.
He ended up being a security guard for the rest of his life.
In some, reality shows.
Yeah. Before there was Webster, we had different
he was a superstar. Talk about catchphrases and stuff. Mm-hmm. He was as big as they come.
Not to mention having been hounded by the Gooch, who was never seen on the show, only over the phone.
Only mentioned
the Gooch. Yeah. Okay, there was a spinoff where I don't even understand if she was supposed to be the same character or not, but Ed and Garrett went on to be like a house mother,
right,
at a all girls school. Mm-hmm.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about the facts of life. The facts of life. When the world never seems to be living up to your dreams, and suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you.
Know every word, sing it all the time. Facts of life. Blair, Joe, Natalie, Tootie. You're wanting to say Tootie. I can see a purse in your lips. I'm going to say Tootie.
Yeah, but in season 1, they had a lot more girls. Molly Ringwald was on the show.
True, sure.
Yeah, and they offed a bunch of them. And
yeah, they offed. It was a murder spree.
Yeah. She was a terrible house mother. She
they all
lost
bought bicycles.
Yeah.
They went with Chuck Cunningham and Tiger.
They're all farm. They're all farm far away. They're all living it up. Yeah, and I don't remember who played Joe, but I remember that girl coming and bringing her there, and she was like the tough.
Oh yeah, she was the tomboy. Yeah.
But they were all about her because she was able to be tough, but still have these emotional scenes. So they were and Blair originally was Lisa Whelchel, who she was on Survivor one season, by the way, did pretty well. She was a real goody two shoes in real life, I guess, and didn't like when they did certain subjects. But originally she was supposed to be like a country girl or whatever, but when she auditioned, she said her lines so sarcastically and things, they changed her entire character to be that type of rich, I won't say. I did read Tootie was too young really when they cast her, and that's why what do you remember about Tootie? Say it.
Roller skates.
Right. She wore roller skates. You remember that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She wore them only in the first season.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to say something
different. You were going to say ponytails.
That's my save was going to be ponytails.
She was actually the only black actress to audition. But she wore roller skates because she was only 10. And supposed to be playing a 12-year-old character. They put roller skates on. She wore them the whole first season and walked upstairs in them. But then she was introduced in the second season like she was a new character.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Same thing, and just didn't wear roller skates anymore, and they never said anything about it. It was a good show. They dealt with a lot of issues. Like I said, Lisa Whelchel didn't like if they had anything to do with sex. It ended up, I think Natalie was the one that had sex for the first time. That girl was not an actress. They went to do just checking out a girl's school to see what it was like, and they created the character based on her and hired her to play it. But they dealt with drugs and shoplifting, all those kind of issues.
I feel like I'm learning a lot of facts.
That's good stuff.
About the facts of life.
Right. It's all about your life.
I didn't know that many facts.
So, as far as theme songs go, I think The Facts of Life is a million times better than Different Strokes.
Yeah, I'm with you on Facts of Life. It also, George Clooney, I think, got his TV start on.
Yeah, I think he did. Years. I think he did. I remember him showing up there.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? I'm curious what you thought.
I was leaning Different Strokes just because I'd seen many more of those than I had Facts of Life.
I like Different Strokes better as a show. I was never into The Facts of Life, but as strictly a theme song, I think Facts of Life is better.
So that puts The Facts of Life up against Welcome Back, Kotter.
Well, I voted the other one for both those, so...
I want to hear what you say. So what do you like better?
I think I would lean Kotter.
Okay. Well, I don't have a choice. I like them both a lot, so I'm glad I didn't make a choice. So that puts Welcome Back, Kotter against Magnum P.I.
So that's an infinitely easier choice for me. I would go Magnum all day, every day.
See, I feel like I'm getting submarined here, but I would go with Mr. Kotter.
I really didn't want to make this choice.
I really like I like the series back in the day, Welcome Back, Mr. Kotter, but I really half the time watched the show just for the opening theme. I think that is that one can really go far for me on the side of the bracket. I mean, immediately when I looked at it, the two that really stood out for me were Three's Company and Mr. Kotter. I think it's a great song. I watched a really cute video. Our local high school here in town in Marietta did a welcome. All the teachers and faculty got together this year and did a whole video to welcome back Mr. Kotter. The whole, theme. It was great. I thought, man, that the kids have no idea what this is,
the kids
but I love it. The parents are going to love
it. Yeah, definitely. Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I really like the Magnum theme, but I love Welcome Back, Kotter song. So we're going to leave it like that for now. We're going to go to the other side of the bracket. We're halfway done. How many minutes are we in, Cliff?
Yeah, only an hour and a half.
Hey, this is it. This is the final episode. We're going to drag it out. Okay, so the play-in was a show that, well, let's just hear.
Who can turn the world on with her smile? Who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show it. Love is all around, no need to waste it. You can have it down, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all.
You're gonna make it after all. If you got a hat on, throw it into the sky like Mary Tyler Moore. Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yeah. Oh, the cat meowing at the end. Nice touch. Again, a big show at the time.
Yeah. That was on for a long time too, right?
It was on from 70 through 77, so probably 8 seasons.
Yeah. The great Ed Asner.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of talent.
Betty White.
They wanted a Betty White.
Lou.
They wanted a Betty. They wanted a Betty White type character, and they were like, "Why don't we just get Betty White?" Yeah, Ted. I love Ted Knight. I think it was Ted Baxter in the show. Maybe we got Valerie Harper just recently passed away. They didn't want to cast her originally because she was too pretty to be Mary Tyler Moore's frumpy friend, but she was just too good. MJM TV News in Minneapolis. They all that stuff was filmed, right? You know, like that whole intro, her going down the escalator and things like that. They have a statue of the throwing of the hat and things.
And the famous thing I always remember that was the woman, the frowning woman in the background. Like that was a big,
like, what is this lady doing?
That was a big deal back then. Like, who is that lady? What is she doing?
She was originally supposed to be divorced, but they didn't want anybody to think that she was divorced from Rob Petrie. Didn't want to think Rob had done something like one of them working mom people.
She's just a career gal.
Yeah.
Putting her career ahead of her.
They tried to force feed a couple relationships, like with Lou, and
I always liked their dynamic. I always liked her dynamic with the boss. It's like, you know, it was the chemistry between the cast was terrific.
Yeah, they were only all on the last episode I saw. There was a spinoff, Lou. Wasn't it called Lou?
I don't know.
It was on, with Ed Asner. Again,
Rhoda had a spinoff too.
Yeah, Rhoda, of course. Yeah. So it's up against.
This is Jim Rockford. At the tone, leave your name and message. I'll get back to you.
This is Shirley from the bank. The answers are no, no, and yes. No, we won't loan you money. No, we won't accept any co-signers. And yes, your account's overdrawn. I get off at 4:30.
Rockford Files, James Garner.
Feels very of its time, doesn't it?
Definitely. They got the Mini Moog out there to do some keys on that one.
Yeah, so we put this up on Facebook. This was our play-in poll, and guess what, guys?
I just checked it for an updated thing. It's the same.
It's a tie.
It's a tie.
50-50.
50-50. He was an ex-con, drove a Copper Mist Pontiac Firebird Esprit. Had the dad, Rocky. He was always the detective. The people like, because he was just like, he was always broke. He was always getting arrested. Things that, it was popular, but
I have to admit, I did not watch. I knew of the Rockford Files. It's still on some of those old TV Land or whatever.
And it's not something I ever stop and watch.
Yeah, I never watched it. I never really watched the Mary Tyler Moore Show. So I'm strictly going on theme song here. What I've just listened. I'm going to go ahead and vote and say, it's because we got to break the tie. I'm going to say Mary Tyler Moore.
Oh, wow. I know what Jordan's going to say. He's very clear who his favorite TV mom is. I was leaning that way anyway originally, but then I really just like that theme song to Rockford Files.
Yeah, I mean that's a cool little thing.
I'm going to vote for that, even though I feel it's a moot.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad we didn't let other people come up with this, because I don't know. When we first talked about this, that's one of the 4 or 5 songs I thought of Mary Tyler Moore, like, to me, that immediately jumped to mind as just an iconic theme to an iconic show. So, yeah, Mary Tyler Moore for me.
All right, well, let's see how it holds up against this juggernaut.
Well, we're moving on now. We're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on up to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Fish don't fry in the kitchen. Beans don't burn on the grill. Took a whole lot of trying just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues, getting our turn at bat. As long as we live, it's you and me, baby. There ain't nothing wrong with that. We're moving on up.
Jeffersons. It's a spinoff of a show we'll get to. Another Norman Lear show. George and Wheezy. Dry cleaning owner. They moved to Manhattan. They've got some money. It's good.
Yeah. Most of these shows, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I was born in the 70s, but a kid of the 80s. So a lot of these 70s shows were in syndication reruns when I saw them. So they were.
Well, this show was on forever. You probably saw some.
I might have at the end.
It was on from 75 to 85.
Okay, yeah, I didn't realize it was on that long.
Yeah, it was on forever. It was huge. It was a huge show. I mean, what do you remember about it? Him walking on Tom's back. Him dancing. Sherman Hemsley dancing was hilarious. The maid,
he had the elbows up, and
he had a swagger too.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
no one else on TV ever had.
Mr. Bentley, Ralph the Doorman, Mother Jefferson, who died during the series, and of course they had her die on the television show also. Lionel the son was there. Florence the housekeeper, Marla Gibbs, who was great. She wasn't supposed to be on there that long and ended up being a hit. Tom and Helen were the first white-black interracial TV couple. Who Helen, I can't remember her name in real life, but she was in a real life interracial couple, and she's the mom of Lenny Kravitz.
Well, you're just full of all kinds of facts tonight.
I'm just telling you. It's the longest running, predominantly African American sitcom ever.
Mm-hmm. Even more than the Cosby Show.
Yeah, and Norman Lear will say, the Cosby Show is great, but what everyone says they did, we already did. And he's right.
Portraying that upwardly mobile.
Right.
It wasn't about, Good Times, Sanford and Son. That's about lower class.
Right.
Those people were at the lower rung of society. George Jefferson had moved on up. It's a guy who made his way in the world and was trying to, I believe threw the word honky around quite a bit, but making his way in, like,
he did not want, he didn't. He said at one point, he's like, I won't say it because at this point I am friends with Tom and I would not call him that. And eventually he would mumble it for a while and eventually they quit writing it in.
That's interesting.
Yeah, which I thought was really interesting. It was like, so they were,
but a guy who could get away with that.
Yeah.
Like he had enough, what do we call that? Agency. He had enough agency to not have to take lip from a white guy. He was on par with anybody else on the screen.
Very good show. So that I can understand what you like about the Mary Tyler Moore Show theme song, but I think the Jeffersons is one of the greatest theme songs ever. Everybody knows what it's from, and yet it is also a really great upbeat song.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my vote.
It's you can reference it. Moving on up, like that's reference people have made ever since then. But yeah, Mary Tyler Moore. You talk to any female in the entertainment industry, from Tina Fey to any writer, this galvanized a generation of women who like saw her on the screen and said, "Wow, there's a woman who, you know, she wasn't the wife, she wasn't the girlfriend. Like, she had a job and she had a career and she did what she wanted." So it just. But again, Jeffersons broke a lot of ground too. So.
Right. That's a tough matchup.
I gotta go Mary Tyler Moore just from that freeze frame, the hat flying. So Cliff,
if you're really torn, Cliff, just play them again. I don't have a problem with either one. I just want you to put what you want.
Who can turn the world on with her smile?
Yeah, I'm going Jeffersons.
I thought that would fix it. Okay.
You sabotaged it.
All right. So, all right. Let's do one. This was one based off of a movie.
On November 13th, Felix Unger was asked to remove himself from his place of residence. That request came from his wife. Deep down, he knew she was right, but he also knew that someday he would return to her. With nowhere else to go, he appeared at the home of his friend Oscar Madison. Several years earlier, Madison's wife had thrown him out, requesting that he never return. Can two divorced men share an apartment without driving each other crazy?
Explains it all, right? You don't need to watch the show.
I was a big...
You're turning off the theme song.
Huh?
This is really... No. Mumbo jumbo. Here's the theme song.
I was a big Odd Couple fan.
Yeah,
I really liked that show back in the day.
Based off the movie with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. A couple years later, I think this was on from 68 to 75. I had Tony Randall, Jack Unger as... I mean, sorry, not Jack Unger. My fault. Jack Klugman. Felix Unger, Oscar.
Yeah. Oscar and Felix, yeah.
Yeah, they it was fine.
I really liked that show. I mean, I really did. I remember watching it a lot back in the day. I
always think, when I think of Jack Klugman, I think of Quincy. He played like a doctor in a show called Quincy. You get literally have no idea what I'm talking
about. Nope.
Wow. Wow. That's ridiculous. I probably made it up in my head.
Okay, what's it up against?
The most iconic show theme of all time.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played
songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
And you knew where you were then.
Girls were girls and men were men. Mister, we could use a man like Herbert Hoover again. Didn't need no welfare state.
Everybody pulled his weight.
G.R.O. LaSalle read great. Those were the days.
I know it's not pleasing to the ears, maybe, to hear Gene Stapleton screech those lyrics. And the lyrics are even a twisted version of what they're really, the actors are really thinking. But I have nostalgia for their nostalgia.
Well, it's a little derivative of Family Guy.
They really ripped them off. Yeah. We've talked about this on one of our episodes. We talked about them, but Carroll O'Connor was famously not a bigot. He was very liberal, but he plays one, and they covered a lot. I mean, this is the original Norman Lear show of dealing with social, political issues. Rob Reiner, as Michael, meathead. Sally Struthers, this is where the Jeffersons came from. They were like neighbors. It just dealt with it. He dealt with a lot of those political issues, and he would always argue the bigoted side.
But I don't know enough about it or its history. Did it have an audience of both sides? Like, did conservatives watch it? Like, yep, Archie's telling it like it is, or did everyone recognize he's in the wrong? Or
I think yes, I'm sure there were people that were like, yeah, Archie's right, absolutely. But I will give them enough credit to know that he was the one that was supposed to look wrong. Michael Stivic, Harrison Ford was offered that role, and he just didn't take it because he didn't like how bigoted the character of Archie Bunker was. But Rob Reiner killed it as arguing all these things against making Archie look stupid and bigoted, throughout. Everybody was great on it.
But they're like, keep politics out of entertainment, whatever. But like, they try to show similar to that. Gerard Carmichael had a show on NBC called The Carmichael Show, and had David Alan Grier. And this was just a couple years ago. And every episode was some hot button topic, and the family would sit around the living room arguing about gun control or abortion. And it was like they presented arguments for both sides, and it's like nobody wanted to watch it because this politics and And
yet, All in the Family was the number one show.
But this show somehow broke through. People liked these characters enough that they weren't being preached to, or it wasn't. It
was so entertaining.
It wasn't the McNeil Lear news hour.
I mean, it was still funny. There was so much humor to it. This is the first toilet flush on primetime TV. I mean, that's what he's known for, is you hear him flush and then come down the stairs. Very Bundy-ish. I remember watching reruns of this a lot. And like I said, I love the nostalgia of their nostalgia. Like, it's just, I know that they're nostalgic for things that they're not really nostalgic for. But we all are nostalgic for simpler times. Playing with your G.I. Joes and things and not worrying about all this crap. Trying to speak.
What are you talking about?
Those were the days, Cliff.
That's what I mean. It's just the simplicity of those were the days. And they would record this every season. They would re-record it. It was originally supposed to be an orchestra played it, but they couldn't afford it. So they just sang it. And then they loved that idea, and they re-sang it every year.
What are you voting, Jordan?
All in the Family.
All in the Family.
Yeah, me too. Obviously. So it goes, this is strong matchup here. All in the Family versus the Jeffersons.
I'm going Jeffersons on this one.
I think I'm going Jeffersons too.
Catchier, more upbeat.
Yeah, I have
every bit as iconic.
Yeah, I have. I guess the All in the Family theme gets to my heart more. Like I like the sadness of that song, but you can't beat the Jeffersons as far as likability. Okay, so the bottom half of the Northeast.
Get your compass out.
Sorry, I gotta turn my paper right. The Northeast bracket. Yeah, this is something. Let's just hear it. Takes it a while to get there, but when it does,
it gets there.
Chips. California Highway Patrol. Eric Estrada.
Punch.
Larry Wilcox is John Baker. They hated each other in real life. Get your explosion sound sound ready, because if I ever see an explosion in anything, I think, what is this, an episode of Chips? If anything happened to a car in Chips, it exploded every time. What's Baker's call sign?
Oh,
I know it right away. Come on, guys.
I have no idea.
1 out of 12.
7 marry 3. Nice try though. 7 marry 3. Again, this was as 80s as you could get. It was on for 77 to 83, but I just think this as a quintessential early 80s show.
Yeah, early 80s.
Yeah. They just ride them bikes and try not to get exploded on. It was like I'm not gonna say it. It was something. So they got too big for their britches, and the show ended up ending like these guys just thought they were. Baker didn't like Eric Estrada and left, or Larry Wilcox, I mean. Mm-hmm. And then Ponch just thought he was too big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a big TV star.
I mean, he really was.
Yeah.
These guys were big. It's up against another cop show.
I know nothing about that show, but I know that theme song.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Lord, Detective Steve McGarrett. I don't think I've ever watched it, but that's one of the most famous theme songs. It's great.
Oh, man.
I know Bookham Dano.
Yeah,
that's true. I know that
Bookham Dano, that's right.
That's all I got.
Danny character was on there. It's The Ventures did that song.
That great surf rock instrumental.
Mm-hmm. Great. I think that's the whole only way they got away with doing a remake is just so they're like, oh, you're going to get to play that theme song? Boom. Let's make a whole show.
Yeah, so what do you got? Chips or Hawaii 5-0?
Well, easily Hawaii 5-0.
Same.
Okay. And then Hawaii 5-0 is going against this matchup. All right, we got some little bit of puppetry going on here.
It's the Muppet Show with our special guest star, Miss Bernadette Peters!
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to get things started.
No, please don't make me watch it.
It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Muppetational. This is what we call the Muppet Show.
That's good stuff.
That just makes you feel good.
Man, I loved this show.
Yep.
Loved it. Had a different celebrity every week. They had trouble getting people to come on, but they weren't allowed to come twice.
Yeah, I loved
vaudeville type show. Yeah.
Variety show.
Yeah.
Variety show. In the height of variety shows, when I was a little kid, I loved the Muppet Show. I still have a Kermit the Frog. I used to apparently carry everywhere with me when I was like 3.
How long was the show? Was it a half hour or an hour? It had to have been a half hour, right? But there were so many skits. I mean, I remember so much. Beaker and, they had like...
It might have been an hour.
It might have been.
Yeah, I mean, they had
musical
famous
numbers.
things. Scooter. They always had the behind-the-scenes stuff. I love that. Sam the Eagle and Scooter. And then, of course, the most famous. I freaking love the Swedish Chef. So good. Yeah, like I said, pigs in space. Pigs in space.
Yeah, we bought a DVD set of season 1 when it first came out a few years back. Let me tell you, season 1 they were still working some stuff out. It had some weird stuff in it.
I'm curious to go back. Well, I remember what about a cat? It's going to the dogs. You know, like the Rolf.
Yeah.
If you've seen any of like the old Saturday Night Live bits, you know, where Henson they do the Muppets. It's like those were weird.
They were.
I'm sure there was a little bit of a transition.
Yeah, they were doing some drugs. But yeah, they had great bits that repeated all the time. Remember the ballroom dancers?
Oh yeah,
yeah. You had Muppet News. I mean, there was amazing stuff in there.
Yeah, it had to have been an hour.
Yeah,
because I think they did most of those things every episode. It seemed like they did like a different new skit of it.
Groundbreaking. One of the best shows ever.
I miss that.
And we had the record soundtrack album to the show.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I've heard that. That was the start of the song. It's time to meet the Muppets, and I still remember every bit on that record. Of good grief, the comedian's a bear. No, he's not. He's wearing a necktie.
Now waka waka waka. So much. It's like we could go on. There's so many different things. Statler and Waldorf up there, and it's just
not necessarily aimed just to kids. It wasn't a kid show. It
was definitely not.
A prime time family show.
I think a lot of this stuff, it may have been, they had that in mind, but adults
nothing in the 70s and 80s. Nothing was for kids.
No.
Kids just watched it. It wasn't terribly R-rated, but
we just didn't get it if they said something. It's like Bugs Bunny cartoons say things, but it just goes over your head.
You got Saturday mornings. That was all you got. Nothing else was for you.
There was an amazing history about this show. They did some primetime specials to show off what we could do, some of the characters, the new puppets, to enable to make the show, and then nobody would buy it. None of the major networks would pick it up. He ended up selling it to somebody that put it into syndication, and they filmed it over in London. And they were producing all that stuff over there. And it was a huge hit in the UK. It was a huge hit here. At one time, it was probably one of the absolute biggest TV shows on the planet. And then everything that sprouted from the success of it, the Muppet movies, and Henson was able to go and fund movies like The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth and all this crazy stuff.
So Jim Henson, Frank Oz are studs. And it's up against a show that I just blew by me. I never cared about it all.
Get your cares away, worries for another day. Let the music play. Climb back around, work your cares away. Dancing's for another day. Let the fraggles play. We're go-go family over.
Waggle!
Hey, look, Ma! I got a flaggle! Cares away, worries for another day. Let the music play.
Yeah, so I actually, as a young child, I had HBO and was able to watch Fraggle Rock. And I was a big fan of it. I thought it was great. It broke a lot of ground on its own. And the storylines they did, some amazing things came out of Fraggle Rock. It was hugely popular. They had an animated show later on Saturday mornings. Fraggle Rock is just what it was called. But yeah, this was mainly, I believe, made by Henson's team over there, because he was off doing movies and other projects, and he kind of left it to them, and they came out with this amazing product that lasted for a long time. And if you go back and watch it now as an adult, like I think a lot of the storylines just were over our head. They were pretty.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I wasn't really watching anyway. I remember there was an old guy, a dog, a bunch of puppets, and I don't care. I like the theme song.
You had Doc and Scruffy. Was it Scruffy? Sprocket.
Oh, yeah.
Sprocket. Right. Yeah, there were actually, I do believe there were other versions of Fraggle Rock made where, well, I shouldn't say other versions, where they did the human part they would have for other countries, and they would refilm those with other actors. Sometimes they had Sprocket in them. Sometimes it was another something else. But it was a worldwide, show. So
I remember the big people. I don't remember what they were called. That they freaked me out. Like I was terrified. Like because the scale's weird. Because I'm sure they were just regular people, but like to the Fraggles they looked enormous.
Yeah.
And then the trash heap.
Yeah.
That creeped me out too. But I had such empathy for the poor little doozers.
Yeah, the doozers.
They worked all day, and then the Fraggles ate their stupid...
Yeah, everything they built.
All their building supply. It was like, Fraggles!
Then the doozers had a spinoff, too.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this show actually, you missed it, but yeah, a lot of people didn't. It had
Maybe
a huge
that's what's wrong with you. You didn't have enough Fraggles in your...
That's right.
It's that one ingredient.
Your heart is Fraggleless.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna vote Muppet Show, but man, I give a lot of credit to Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great theme song.
Yeah, it doesn't beat Muppets for me.
No, it would beat a lot of other things on this list, but not Muppets.
Yeah, I love the Muppet Show. I don't know the theme song's that much better, but I would definitely go over that. So that puts the Muppet Show up against Hawaii 5-0.
Oh man, that's a great song, but it's not in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I know, like I said, I don't think I ever watched an episode of Hawaii 5-0. Not that that's what this is about, but it's what this is about. So I'm gonna go Muppet Show.
Yeah, I'm going Muppet Show also.
So that puts the Muppet Show up against the Jeffersons.
That's an interesting battle right there.
Yeah. That's what you get.
That's what you get.
When you do a bracket.
All right, who wants to go first? Jeffersons or Muppet Show?
It's a tough one.
It's another heart versus gut.
All right, I'll go first. Muppet Show.
Oh, Jeffersons.
Oh. I hate you guys.
We knew what we were doing. I mean, give us a snippet. Do some Muppet Show first.
It's the Muppet Show with our special guest star, Miss Bernadette Peters.
Oh, marching in.
And like we talked about before, it gives you a sense. It gives you the personality of the show. They were getting ready for a show. They're ready to put on. Every night was like a live performance. They were
right.
Things were
you're in the
wrong.
Muppet Theater.
Yeah.
Statler and Waldorf are up in the corner.
Okay, give me some Jeffersons.
Well, we're moving on now. To the east side.
It's like
you got to keep it going to the breakdown.
It's like a church.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I would like to see that version.
It's not Muppetational.
Right here.
Can we say who's singing it? Is that a known?
Probably is known.
It's not Kermit though. Jeffersons.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Cliff.
Wow.
That was hard for me to do, but it's such a good song.
Jeanette Dubois co-wrote and sang the theme song. I think. Is what it says. Okay. So.
Oh, we're almost done.
Yay.
So close.
It's like 4 a.m.
All right. It's not 4 a.m. Shut her down. The Southeast bracket. Now we have the play-in.
Play-in.
Oh, I forgot about the play-in.
Yeah.
Can't forget about the play-in.
We got the play-in.
There's a magic in the early morning we found, when the sunrise smiles on everything around. It's a portrait of the happiness that we feel and know.
I'm not asleep.
Wow,
this thing's gonna do it.
Wow.
This is
not the
no.
Now listen. Not to the theme song. No, I don't. The theme song's not good. But, yeah, well, they haven't even got to the part. 8 is enough to fill our lives with love. But who cares? It's not about the theme song. It's about the show.
Oh my God, no!
If you want the full disclosure,
directly contradicting everything you've said.
Listen. No, I started this whole thing saying this was just so we could talk about the shows. Full disclosure, I got ready to record these clips and realized I only had 35, and I knew you guys were going to give me crap. So I went and grabbed some. But I did watch this show. It was on, let's see, 77 to 81. Dick Van Patten, who I always got confused with Dick Van Dyke because they had similar names when I was young. There was 8 kids. Did you guys ever see this?
Yeah, that was enough.
That was enough. I remember you had an office right inside the house, big white house. They had like,
sure.
Okay, well, I guess I'll never get through.
I mean, I know. I've seen some, but I
Willie Ames was on there. He used to be on Charles in Charge. He was on the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. Famous Little Nicholas was the youngest kid. What's his name? David was the oldest son who everyone went to it for advice, who was originally played by Mark Hamill in the first episode, and he got in a wreck and broke his nose, and they took him off the show, and he ended up being in Star Wars.
I believe he hit Tiger.
Yeah. He ran into Tiger.
Yeah, I'm so glad we put that in there, not the wonderful
Chuck's
word
basketball
color.
Chuck's basketball went in the street. Tiger chased it, and Mark Hamill hit him in his Corvette Summer.
All right. What's it up against?
Well, basically, whatever the other thing is up against Nancy Bradford, because that's the only reason I watched the show, because I thought she was so gorge.
We have a 911. Armed robbery in progress. See surplus store, corner People's Drive, and 124th Street.
Hill Street Blues.
Never saw it. I'm sure I saw it.
I remember it being on.
I saw it, but I didn't care about it.
Young kid.
Pretty good theme song.
Yeah.
Famous. I saw it on a bunch of lists, so I thought I better include it. It's obviously better than 8 is Enough as a theme song.
Yeah.
How did the people vote?
Yeah, 89% Hill Street Blues, only 11%.
Yeah, this is Jesse's no
8 is Enough.
So, good luck, Hill Street Blues. Got your work cut out for you.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Some
someday the mountain might get them, but the law never will. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Just a good old boy, they wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern day Robin Hood.
Come on.
Yeehaw.
Yee freaking haw.
Waylon freaking Jennings there.
Oh, yeah. The Balladeer. This is no contest. We don't even have to talk about this. Not until the next round. This is no contest.
True, let's skip it. Okay. And it's up against a couple of PBS kid shows.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
We must all really like this song. We just let it play, but it's letting it lull us to sleep.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about our love for Mr. Rogers before.
What's up against?
Sunny day, sweeping the clouds away. On my way to where the air is singing. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Come and play, everything's A-OK. Friendly neighbors there, that's where we meet.
This was the Muppet Show that was meant for kids.
Yeah. Although my parents, they had, when they premiered Sesame Street, they had another couple over. This was before they had kids. Newly married. They were like, it was on prime time, I believe, and they had people over to watch it. They had already bought a Grover puppet and stuff. It's like adults watched this show, kids are not. They thought it was hilarious and stuff.
Still on today.
Yeah, there's something magic about that song. Like something, I don't know, subconscious or something. When my
you were about to get to drift away for an hour.
When my 4-year-old brain heard that, it just laser focus in on the it's like it's about to start. I don't know what it is, but it just.
I'm a Sesame Street guy. I cut my teeth on that stuff. I loved it.
See the dog running across the field, and like all the kids were running. Yeah, that's just
okay.
Luckily, it was Mr. Hooper, not Mr. Horton on this show.
Right.
Big Bird, Snuffleupagus, Groger, Cookie Monster, Bert and Ernie.
Come on. The Count.
Yeah.
Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, we could go on and on.
I mean, seriously, very iconic show. As a kid, I was mostly bored by Mr. Rogers. It was not my pick by any stretch.
I mostly watched. I liked Mr. Rogers, and that we had so very few television shows to watch available to us. But I mainly watched after, a certain age, I only watched Mr. Rogers to piss off my dad because he hated that damn cat.
Yeah, man. But I go Sesame Street.
Yeah,
Samesies.
I Mr. Rogers is wonderful.
Right.
And this it just lulls you in, and it's peaceful and joyful and warm.
So that puts Sesame Street, which is still on today, started in 69. Mr. Rogers was 68 to 01, I believe. It must have been around when he died, I assume. And then it's up against what we had already played from 79 to 85. Them darn Duke boys. Uncle Jesse. Daisy. Come on, Cooter.
Boss Hogg and Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Enos.
Yeah. As Sesame Street is great.
I remember taking pictures of the TV. I remember taking pictures of, back when TVs were tiny.
Yeah.
Before we realized they should be bigger. But using a Polaroid camera to take a picture, trying to get a picture of when the General Lee was in the air.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
I had a General Lee big wheel that I used to ride up and down the sidewalk over and over and over till I wore the wheels off of it.
It just worn the flag off. Even better. Tom Wopat, John Schneider. What were their replacement cousins' names?
Coy and Vance.
Yeah. Catherine Bach was a knockout. Everybody was in love with Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
Dixie, she drove around Dixie.
The Jeep. Yep.
Of course, watch the show religiously.
Yeah, I did too. This is like I said, I love Sesame Street because
all those cues before the commercial.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, the balladeer would come on.
The day there was handing out good luck, them Duke boys must have been fishing.
Of course, you had Uncle Jesse.
Yeah. So,
what
do you think there?
There's the
shepherd of lost sheep.
Oh, that's so good. Oh man, you got me there.
There's another verse to the song.
There is a second verse, yes.
I'm a good old boy, my mama loves me, but she don't understand they keep a show in my hands and not my face on TV. So that's
the balladeer.
The balladeer. You never saw Waylon's face. So it was a little bit of a hey.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I had a buddy. Well, we're still friends. His kids go to school with mine. He had an '83 Camaro, had T-tops in it, and we hunted down the CD of Dukes of Hazzard theme song, and we used to play it all the time, and we would run and slide across the hood.
Oh yeah, you welded your doors shut. They had such trouble with that because it was a Charger, and they quit making them.
It was a '69 Charger.
Yeah, they ended up buying if they saw a Charger on the street, they bought it because they were crashing those suckers.
They had a whole junkyard of them. Yeah, my dad had a '70 Charger back in the day. So, yeah, I'm going Dukes.
It's up against Sesame Street, which suddenly looking like a kiddie show. Yeah, I got to go Dukes of Hazzard on that. All right, bottom half, the Southeast bracket. Something a little close to home here.
Yeah, I'm just going to play it.
Baby, if you've ever wondered whatever became of me, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP. Got kind of tired of packing and unpacking, town to town, up and down the dial. Maybe you and me were never meant to be, just maybe think of me once in a while. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati.
What's the matter? You're not in love with that?
No, that's great.
Oh man, that is great.
Oh, so good.
I think that I've went back and watched several episodes.
I feel like you're about to say
show.
something epic.
No,
but that look on your face. I think this is the greatest.
I think there are a couple bits that I think are absolutely some of the
turkey
funniest
thing.
Okay, the turkey thing's great, but in episode 1,
okay,
when at the very end, Dr. Johnny Fever is on the air, and the last thing you hear is...
I almost forgot, fellow babies.
And he hits the record, and it's one of the funniest bits I've ever seen. Because he got fired from another station for saying booger on the air. Okay. And then they were going to change formats, and, new station manager comes in, and they're going to be a rock and roll station. It's great. Venus Flytrap, Lonnie Anderson.
We had Andy was the
station manager.
Right. You had... Lonnie Anderson was Jennifer, supposed to be the hot girl, but I'm a Bailey Quarters guy.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, she's great. Venus Flytrap, Herb, Les Nessman, and Mr. Horton himself, Gordon Jump, was Mr. Carlson.
Yep, big guy.
Yeah, I'm watching Different Strokes today. I'm like, oh my god, it's the big guy from WKRP wrestling with Arnold. Okay,
this is
good show,
great show, loved it, still love it.
78 to 82,
classic.
It's up against.
See, I have a problem. Like, most of my favorites are all in the same
together.
end.
This is it's up against some good stuff.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with fire up. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone fast with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I've never spent much time in school, but I taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teague's, blown up for Raquel Welch. But when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood look so fine.
The Fall Guy. Lee Majors starring and singing the theme song. Giving nods to, he's been seen with Farrah.
That's right.
Yeah, he has.
It sure has.
Colt Seavers.
Yeah,
I had one. I remember winning a mirror with Heather Thomas in a bikini at the fair. Back when that's what you won was mirrors with stuff etched on. I love that theme song.
Yeah, I had the
unknown stuff.
I had the matchbox though of his big truck.
I did too.
Yeah, he was. Oh, and yeah, you can see him falling in the hay. Hay. He was a stuntman / bounty hunter.
Who isn't? I mean, come on.
That's my ideal occupation. Is stuntman / bounty hunter.
This show is prime for a remake.
Oh yeah,
totally. I mean, something set in Hollywood. You could have cameos from people. Like, come on.
All right, WKRP in Cincinnati or the Fall Guy.
I feel bad about that matchup because I love both of them.
WKRP is way more iconic. More people recognize it. But Fall Guy's a great.
Fall Guy is pretty great. Yeah.
I prefer Fall Guy. Fall Guy. I love them both, but I prefer that song.
I'm WKRP in Cincinnati.
Come on.
What a jerk! Doing it to you, John.
Like I do. I love the Fall Guy, but this is not much of a I mean,
oh man.
When it comes down to it, WKRP
Can you
is
picture
way
all that
more
stuff happening, hanging on the helicopter.
Yeah, I've
flying the jetpack.
Baby, if you ever wondered, everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah, it's so good.
It's up and down the dial.
Oh, Cliff, I've gone against you every one of these picks. I hate this.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But Fall Guy, that's what a song that is. It's great.
All right, last matchup. Got a cartoon.
Why do I want to buy insulation?
Henry Mancini doing. Oh wait, it's good. It's good.
I was always
the Pink Panther.
Yeah, the Pink Panther. I was always confused by this because I as a kid, I loved the Pink Panther movies, but I couldn't understand like where it matched up with the cartoon.
I still don't know. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Enlighten me.
It's just that I don't know if they have anything to do with each other.
No, the Pink Panther, like he would be in the opening credits.
Yeah, he would appear in the
yeah.
movie.
Oh yeah, okay.
But that's
it was just like he was just like a snooty panther that didn't like when I don't know. I remember watching it. I liked the theme song.
I think that's one of life's mysteries right there.
Yeah.
What was the relationship? I don't know.
The name. They called it that, and then they were like, "Hey, let's make a cartoon with Pink Panther."
The last song.
The last song. So I thought
The
I'd save.
very last.
Thought I'd save
song.
something good.
Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. Just like the light of a new day, hit me from out of the blue, breaking me out of the spell I was in, making all of my wishes come true. Believe it or not,
George is in at home.
I always think of that.
Our generation has to think
I
of that.
assumed you had that queued up somewhere.
Nah. I love the hand motion though. Where could I be? Greatest American Hero.
Not a great show for me, but a great theme song.
Short-lived, 81 to 83. William Catt gets a suit from a spaceship. He lost the instruction manual, I believe, and he's trying to figure out how to fly and do all that stuff. Robert Culp in a great role.
Still a novel concept. Of all the superhero shows and movies we've had since, like, what a great concept.
I agree, yeah. That's really good. Connie Selico played the girl.
But yeah, I've never seen the show. Literally the only thing I know about it is the theme.
You've never seen
Oh,
an
wow.
episode?
Never
of that?
seen an episode.
I remember watching it as a kid.
Definitely, yeah. I watched the whole thing, I'm sure.
I mean, I know what his suit looks like. I've seen the
It
photos.
was like the only superhero-y thing I could see on TV at the time, and I was like, "Oh, this is
in
really
prime
cool."
time." Yeah.
Yeah, I think it beats Pink Panther for me.
Greatest American Hero
versus WKRP, or no? Whoa, it's Fall Guy. Fall Guy. Okay.
Well, we can make a WKRP.
No, it's Fall Guy versus Greatest American Hero.
Fall Guy.
Greatest American Hero.
Fall Guy.
Wow.
Fall Guy versus the Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes.
Okay. I have no say. So our final four in the silver bracket is what? Brady Bunch?
Yep.
Versus
Mr. Kate.
Mr. Kate. And the other side is the Jeffersons versus the Dukes of Hazzard.
Duke
Good
boys.
Final Four.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't vote for any on the left side, and I voted all the way for everything on the right side.
Okay.
I mean, is this pretty much where you guys thought it would come out at?
Yeah.
No idea.
I wouldn't have guessed Welcome Back Kotter would beat out.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But the other three, those were all the top seeds.
I would have had Three's Company, probably Knight Rider, and then out of the other side here, probably Muppet Show and possibly I don't know. It was a real toss up Dukes of Hazzard and WKRP for me. So
I would have had Magnum PI going all the way.
I could see that. All right.
So Brady Bunch, Welcome Back Kotter.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I like the song for Welcome Back Kotter, but the Brady Bunch is like, to me, seriously, it is the quintessential theme song of a TV show. Like, it is the most nostalgic. It tells the story. Here's the story
of a lovely lady, right?
Right.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold.
Yeah, you didn't have to see any other episode. You knew exactly.
Yeah, there you go. You're ready to go. They didn't tell you confusion with any details about the dog.
We're sorry about the dog is gone.
Shame the butcher. You can think that's on some other show.
You might see his house, but he's not around.
He is not. There he is.
We all immediately, as soon as the first time we played it, we started looking around. We're doing the motions in the boxes. Yeah.
All right, and it's up against Welcome Back Kotter.
Welcome back.
That's it right there. It's just that welcome back.
It is.
Oh,
That's
man.
the thing. It's a different type of song, though. I think it is a beautiful song. Like I said, I whistle it all the time.
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
great.
But
as Love Boat.
Yeah. But it's not.
It's not the Brady.
It's not the quintessential theme song like the Brady Bunch. I say Brady Bunch, obviously.
Yeah. There's a number of things I would put above the Brady Bunch. Just my own personal list. But there's very little more well-known and more iconic and bigger. So again, not a personal favorite, but better to me than Welcome Back Kotter. So I go Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch.
Okay, the other side was...
Well, we're moving on now to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Fish don't fry in the kitchen. Beans don't burn on the grill.
What's it up against?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty great, but
I mean, I feel like I'm not driving this freaking Charger anymore. It's off. We're jumping the creek here.
That's right.
Yeah, Waylon Jennings might be my favorite singer of all time. Johnny Cash probably has the best voice of all time, but Waylon, that nasally sort of, just has an edge to his voice that I love.
Someday the mountain might get him, but the law never will.
It's so awesome. The show hasn't aged with me. Like I never want to watch a rerun. Like if it's on, I have not turned to a Dukes of Hazzard rerun ever.
Yeah. When I was in high school, it came I think it was like TNN at the time or something. But
that channel was built on Dukes reruns.
It really was. But I remember when they came out with Dukes of Hazzard reruns, and I had not seen the show in years. And I remember going back and like going home from school in high school, and we were like, we're gonna watch the Dukes, man, and still loving it. But yeah, it maybe hasn't aged the best.
Well, I'm sure I'll be outvoted, but I'm going Jeffersons.
You're going Dukes?
I'm going Dukes.
So it's up to me.
Them Duke boys.
Done it again.
Down in Hazard County.
Duke boys have done it again.
You're not going to vote against the Jeffersons. Have trouble. Just the joy of that Jeffersons song. It's so cheery and joyful.
For me, it's just... I don't know. I hear that Dukes of Hazzard, you know...
I know, you are
so
you
great.
are very in this one... You are the 1984-nest person to ever walk the earth. Knight Rider, Dukes of Hazzard, G.I. Joe.
Yes. I had all the toys. I had the General Lee. I had
the best year.
I had the Matchbox cars. I had the little figures that Bo and Luke that fit into the plastic General Lee and the top.
I had it too. I'm with you.
I love that show so much. It was bow and arrows with sticks of dynamite.
You've been saving
Keep
that to try to
talking,
win
keep
him
talking.
over.
Firing him off.
You're winning it.
You've been saving that to try to win him over the last second with bow and arrows.
Dynamite.
Sticks of dynamite.
Wow.
Yes. What was Roscoe's dog's name? He had the dog in the car, the Basset Hound.
Oh,
it always looked so sad.
If you can't remember, you can't vote for it. Wasn't it something to do with it being fast, right? Was it Speedy?
Yeah,
Flash. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I said Speedy. I was like, I knew it's something like that because he was slow. Let's call him Flash.
Cliff.
He's went against me
I'm gonna
every
stab
round.
you in the back one more time.
Every single round, he has went against me.
I just can't. Yeah, Dukes is a wonderful ballad. They still play it on country radio. You hear like the old school country stations still play that song. But there's just happiness in the Jeffersons.
I have nothing left to vote for.
The world needs more happiness. So Jeffersons.
Okay, it puts the Bradys against the Jeffersons.
I'll ride the Jeffersons till the end.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up three very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold.
Yeah, I watched a lot more Brady Bunch. I was certainly more familiar with the Brady Bunch, and it's like I would compare it to like the Flintstones as far as theme songs go. Everybody knows the words.
Singing on the bus.
Singing on the bus.
I believe it.
Yeah. You're on the field trip, man. You got to pull out the big guns.
So is that your vote?
That's my vote, Brady Bunch.
Wow. I was silent there because I wanted to see what happened because I'm pretty even on these. Both were number one seeds for me on those in their respective sides. Oh, wow.
Got to pick one.
I know. Yikes. I think this is going to make a big difference in how this whole thing plays out. I'm doing math in my head.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Neither me or Cliff seem real enthused about either of these, so I don't know if they stack up against the other winners or not.
Yeah, I honestly, they are about just so even for me. But again, I go back to, I think, they both get the job done, but I think Brady Bunch just does what I want. So, it just does what I want, Brady Bunch. Okay, so the winner of the Silver Age bracket is the Brady Bunch.
Congratulations, Brady's.
Here's the story of a lovely
And
lady
B. Davis and all that
who was
stuff.
bringing up three very
So that takes us
lovely
to the
girls.
final four of the whole shebang.
R.I.P. Tiger.
You've stuck with us. You've stuck with us this time. All this time we got final four. So from the what was it?
We did the bronze.
Yeah,
first,
the Bronze
didn't we?
Age winner was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and it is matching up against the winner of the Golden Age bracket, Mission Impossible. And then on the other side will be the Modern Age winner, which was the Office theme, versus the winner of today's Silver Age, the Brady Bunch. It's a pretty good Final Four.
Yeah.
So, wow. So, can you play any of those? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Our mission, should we choose to accept it, narrow down these 4 songs.
What's it up against?
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. In West Philadelphia, born and raised, on the playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. When a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared and said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." I whistled for a cab and when it came near, the license plate said fresh and it had dice in the mirror. If anything, I could say that this cab was rare, but I thought, man, forget it. Yo, home's the Bel Air.
Fresh Prince, Mission Impossible.
What do you guys think?
I remember Mission Impossible, like when I first saw the bracket, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And then it just kept winning for me. It just kept going and going. I was like, yeah, that's better than all these. So it was more of a dark horse choice.
Right.
Where Fresh Prince kind of stands out immediately as, oh, that's one of those songs that just everybody knows. So it's kind of an immediate favorite versus a slower burn, no pun intended, match strike.
I realized on the listen back, I did not vote for Mission Impossible one time.
Right, you did not.
And that's going to continue because I'm going to vote Fresh Prince.
Oh. Wow.
Well, I'm looking at the other side of the bracket, trying to think.
I know.
Would either of those defeat either of these? I'm not sure.
I don't think so, is the thing. Well, I don't know, yeah. Depends what they're up against. Oh, it's so important. See, people, we've invested all this time. It's very important.
Yeah,
it's so important.
We can't fall on our faces now.
Oh,
that would just have been a waste of everyone's time.
Well, I love Mission Impossible. It's like, it's probably my favorite theme song of anything all time. Is the reason it's so tough, because like I said, I like when it tells the story in a theme song and sets you up for the show, and Mission Impossible doesn't do that except for the tenseness and things, but it's such a good theme song. It eclipses everything. It's a really tough pick. I'm going to say Mission Impossible and let it all fall on your shoulders. How's that?
Now, do I screw over Cliff one more time just for...
It's been the theme of the night here.
Time's sake.
Again, no, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I feel like I'm picking the winner. I don't know what you guys are feeling on that other side, but at least from my perspective, because I'm not sure either of these would lose to either of the other two for my money.
I'm inclined to agree.
It's got to be Fresh Prince. It's from my era. I've watched way more of those.
I think as far as the crowd is concerned, you're definitely picking the right one.
Lyrically, you said it sets up the show. Not that, Mission Impossible deserves to be here. I said from an underdog, it's that small school that defied the odds and busted the bracket and made it all this way. Yeah. But I got to go Fresh Prince.
Yeah, Fresh Prince does it all. So it's up against The Office.
re-listening to that last episode, I just wasn't satisfied. Just still thinking, really, that was the best one? Because there's that feeling of it's just not classic enough, and then, but it's better than that one. It's better than that one, and then you just by process of elimination, it is. It's great. It's so good, but it just doesn't feel like an all-timer.
Yeah,
because it's so recent and so short. You know, that's so short a time
that's the
we've
problem
had
with the modern bracket. I don't think it. It's great, but it can't beat this.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in curls.
It's the story of a man named Brady who was busy with 3 boys of his own. They were 4 men.
Purely theme song. Brady Bunch has my vote.
Yep, Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch.
So Brady Bunch versus Fresh Prince. Both tell the story, set you up for the show. It's just whether you're racist or not.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, that's what somebody's going to say if we went Brady Bunch, right? Yeah. I don't know. They both do the job. I think they both equally do the job. But
only one had the involvement of DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Right.
That's true. That's
professional musician.
Yeah.
Doing this song.
Quincy Jones driving the cab.
Yeah. I don't know how you got to go Fresh Prince. It's just they're both iconic, but everybody knows every word, and it's just
smell you later. I'm voting Fresh Prince.
Yeah, me too.
Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
It's unanimous.
Like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air.
Will Smith's many accolades, awards, and laurels. Here's his latest.
Yeah. Hey, it's great.
Winner.
Happy with the winner.
Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast Extreme TV Theme Song Bracket.
So good. We did it, guys. It only took us weeks and weeks.
10 hours,
and
12
weeks,
hours.
12 hours.
Something like that.
To get through it all, to come to the conclusion I predicted from the very beginning.
I know. I'm a little underwhelmed because
I knew it was going to happen.
We picked the winner in the first minute.
Right.
I'm sorry I said that in the first episode, but I was like, hey, this is going to win it all. Yep. But, so.
Yeah. We did it. I mean,
we got to talk about all the shows. That was real. It was about the journey for me. I'm
glad it was.
I like all the nostalgia talking about these shows. Spent all those hours watching them.
That's true.
Might as well get to talk about them for a minute.
That's a good point.
So yeah, this involved a lot of hours in preparation, and we appreciate you listening. A lot of sweat, tears, arguments.
Yeah, and
drama.
Feel free to let us know. Contact us how it would have ended up in your bracket.
Yeah, what would your winner have been?
Would you have voted with me the correct way?
Ever?
Or would you have went with these guys?
Are you a 1984 aficionado?
I'm betting you are.
So we really enjoy these special types of episodes.
If getting ideas, hit us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do brackets, we do top 10s.
We'll do the work.
We'll do whatever.
You just come up with the idea.
Although Riverdale's about to start, so really our time is limited.
It's got to be good, people.
Get your ideas in or hold them.
So that was our summer. We did it.
Yeah.
Summer's over. Now it's time for the autumn. The Autumn Wind is a podcast or whatever that was. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Check us out on Facebook, where we do polls and fun things and post memes and links and GIFs.
Yeah.
And
other
quirks and troubles and
yeet.
Yeet. We yeet nonstop, 24/7.
Just say goodbye.
Thank you, guys. Goodbye. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Jordan. Night, Cliff.
Well, Seth Boy.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good
night,
Night, Jim Bob.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com.
Primetime television, and I remember it being a very special episode, which usually meant they were going to tackle some serious issue, but unlike Saved by the Bell and that, tried to tackle Jesse's drug use
over caffeine pills.
This went as far as early 1980s, probably stretched into the censors.
Do you think it did any good? Do you think there are any
I think
kids
it
out there
terrified a generation of
did
kids from Bike
kids
Shop.
think to tell an adult of some, did it do more harm than good? Or did it?
I can remember that time, like, we were, like, it was beat into our brains that you don't go over to people's houses, like, strangers that you didn't know, the whole stranger danger, like, I remember this episode, like, I completely blocked it out till you started bringing this up, obviously.
Obviously, and as soon as I mentioned it, everybody knew what I was talking about. Everybody remembers Mr. Orton.
Up to this point in our lives, we thought all old people were nice, like, great people that take you to parks and, give you, I don't know, hot dogs or whatever.
Hot dogs.
Awfully specific.
I think you meant pornography and comic books.
No, because I remember as a kid, we had this next door neighbor.
Yeah, who gave him hot dogs.
Here we go.
Fiction, Michael. Nothing happened.
We're recording this.
But
nothing happened. I got out of there in the nick of time. Went home and played with my goldfish, Abraham.
No, he would take me to the park around the corner when they would.
Keeps getting better.
Keep going.
I mean, this is such like
confessions.
But anyway, the park on the west side where they had the they have baseball games.
Yeah.
He was just an old gentleman that would take me over there. I give up. Let's move on.
No, come on.
He brought his camera.
We've given you every chance to get out of it. You're going now. Go on. What happened?
But no, anyway, he would just take me over to the park and we'd watch ball games, and he'd give me a hot dog and a pop or something, and it was just really cool.
There's just one thing though. Maybe it would be best if you didn't even mention, that you came back here and I gave you all this ice cream before dinner. Why don't we just make it our little secret?
Like, as a little kid, it was nice to get out of the house and do something. Whereas, like, this episode taught you that all old people were evil.
Yeah, different strokes for room park for everyone.
That's the magic right there. That's the magic.
Oh my god!
I miss it.
Oh my god! That's the best thing ever. I just love what he's like. He's like, am I buying a hot dog? And I go, oddly specific. Oh my god, that's the best thing ever.
That's I miss the most are things slowly dawning on Michael. Where all the rest of us know it a mile away.
It's that revelation.
But it takes a few minutes to get there for him.
And then there's just a beauty where you like shove the quote in there and you come back. He's like, this is nice. He just took me and got some something. And he just was nice. What is that? Fine gentleman. Oh my god. Oh, that is so good.
It's podcast magic.
That is so good. Oh. Wow. He is definitely...
And
you can't duplicate that
No,
stuff.
you can't.
Go on. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
But no!
Yeah, he's like, yeah, there's a park over. It's just like he wouldn't stop. He didn't know when to stop. He didn't realize how this was going to come across. So good. That is crazy good. That's crazy.
I just wish,
Wow.
Sound quality. Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
Jeez.
yeah. The echo and stuff. That's so funny.
Come a long way.
The Echo Dot allows you to
Oh,
talk
really?
to more rooms in your home.
Yeah, stop.
It includes a built-in
She's been
speaker.
listening this whole time
Oh,
for
yeah.
free.
Echo. Stop.
You owe us $1.
That's so funny. Wow.